Are we on?
We're on.
I don't see the chat line.
I don't see the chat. There it is. Is it?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, there it is. It was just slower than we were.
No, I got it. I got it. We are good to go. Good afternoon, Angie. We will be selling them soon. I promise. The shirts. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had a lot of requests for shirts. They're coming. They're coming, guys.
Joe, can you just take me full since we're talking about the shirts, buddy?
Shirts are cool.
That's all we that's all we can get. I cancel this. Oh, there you go. Oh yeah, you have control over that. Yeah, then we can go back. It is the show before the show. Happy Friday, everybody. 6:30, June 30th. Show before the show, putting some things together. It's a free for all Friday show as well. The second hour today, I'll talk about a little bit more too. Marco Rubio came out with an interview talking about aliens being on Earth. I'm not kidding. We'll get into that. Alien on Ring. Allegedly, it's Tabitha's Ring doorbell, of course, because she wants aliens so bad.
It is. You should hear her.
There's
Ring
also
doorbell.
a map. I saw this. Eric Schmidt, our friend, he posted, tongue in cheek, a map of safety. If aliens attack, we'll show you the safest states in the country. I don't know why, but there's an interesting stuff there. Yeah, so we'll be doing those shirts. We'll be showing those shirts. Cancel the shirts that we got. Yeah, we'll have some gear. It's we're walking. We were crawling. Now we're walking. Eventually, be running and sprinting with everything with the show.
I feel the sprint coming on any minute. I feel it. I feel it.
Yeah, we love what we're doing here. Hope everybody has a good weekend. By the way, I'm still deciding. I don't know about Monday. Joe, if you could, do you have plans? Are you on vacation Monday?
No, I can do whatever.
I'm not asking anybody to be here Monday or Tuesday, but if I decided to come in myself, could you join me? Or I don't know.
I could come in on Monday.
I bet there's no pressure.
Right.
I don't know.
I already know that Joe's going to sing the national anthem, so that's worth coming in for. Don't you think, Joe?
Oh,
I mean, his voice, I can't wait. I can't wait to hear it.
It's going to be wonderful.
Do you do cups? Yeah, we will do cups. We got some of those. These are, we got the tumblers right now. Derek Pratt has an awesome company. He's a show listener. It's kind of white. You can see there. Also, the interesting thing are these codes.
Oh, those are the best.
So you can check out the stuff, the codes on the bottom. So we had that. Yeah, we got in black. The white was cool. I like the white better, but the black is pretty damn awesome.
Yeah, they're both
as
neat.
Well. Same thing. You get a code like that. Really, 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 really cool. Really cool stuff. Yeah, so we appreciate everybody jumping in. Yeah, we've upped if you haven't checked out the Instagram page, please do promote that as well. Really increasing our videos, the shorts, real good shorts, 30 seconds max on some of those things. Hell, one of those with Chanel had like 1,200 likes.
Yes, she did. Yes, already.
Yeah, very cool stuff there. Check it out. It really gives you a flavor of what we're about, the guest. We really have been fortunate to get a lot of really good guests, national guests, which is what our goal has been. So some really cool things happening from that standpoint, utilizing this platform as best as we possibly can. But we'll talk about the aliens. Also, Sound of Freedom movie, it debuts July 3rd. Excuse me, Monday. Focusing on child sex trafficking. My favorite actor of all time, from a talent standpoint and a moral standpoint, is Jim Caviezel, of course, Passion of Christ, and just what he has been about in Hollywood. He is in this movie all about the rescuing of child sex trafficking kids. I watched the interview on the guy that this movie is about, and boy, oh boy, did it blow my mind. We'll also show you people whose lives have somehow come to an end. They've been unalived while doing documentaries all across the country. You've heard in the world. You've heard of some of these massive, massive names. But it is interesting because sometimes we forget about that stuff. So part of our free for all Friday that we'll get to. Jonathan Heslop, we'll talk about him coming up in just a little bit. Yeah, but we appreciate you guys getting us going on the show this morning. My gosh, I think the allergies are kicking.
Or it's the smoke.
I was just getting ready to say it's
Smoke.
smoke
I
from
didn't.
Canada.
There's smoke out there.
Yeah,
Wow.
there's still a haze, a little bit.
Yeah.
I didn't think.
Everybody's getting headaches and getting coughs from that.
I feel good. I pray for people that hope that's not the case.
A lot of people's allergies are kicking in because of it.
Yes.
Yeah, Sherry,
so.
Travis Scott wasn't charged for his concert where people died.
Yeah.
Was that just over a year ago?
I
So
think
much
so.
demonic associated with that. Demonic symbolizing, things happening in that concert, a portal on stage. That was just crazy stuff. I don't know. Yeah, we're sorry, I gotta go get a water break. Oh, you have an extra one, Joe? Thank you.
Here comes Joe. Always comes to the rescue.
Joe, thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. I'm wearing the Cancel This shirt. You're wearing the Pabst Blue Ribbon shirt.
And I've got America on my shirt. America.
Thought about wearing a Bud Light shirt, you know?
That would have been hysterical.
What's that?
He said he thought about wearing a Bud Light shirt. I said that would have been fun. Do it next week, Joe. Do it.
Sure.
Do it.
I'll make sure it has a rainbow.
Yeah.
What do we got here? Also sweet people. All right. All right. Let's rock and roll. Let's get things started, Joe. Is that cool? Yeah, it's 8:00. Welcome into Cancel This. It's cancelthisshow.com. I was like, listen to this. I was like, what the hell is that sound? It was my phone.
Your phone.
It was
I
my
was thinking
phone
it was mine.
No, it was my phone catching up. We appreciate it. Happy Friday, everybody. Hope you're doing well. I'm Vic Faust, Tabitha Hassel, and Eric Johnson en route. Lizzie Sparks here today, taking care of the chat line, the live chat. Nobody does it better than she does. We love that as well. Pro Joe taking care of the boards. It is a free-for-all Friday. We've got some serious / fun stuff to do in the 8:00 hour, 9:00 hour. Marco Rubio. He's pretty much talking about aliens being on Earth.
Ooh.
Here we go.
Ooh.
An alien on a Ring camera. I'm calling bullshit. Even though Tabitha would be like, yeah, I so believe. It is so aliens are all amongst us. Also, if aliens were to attack Safety Map. We've also got Jonathan Heslop, the owner of Rockwood Charcoal. He hangs out with us every now and then to come in. The best charcoal you're going to find anywhere. It's a July 4th weekend, so he'll talk about that. Look forward to that coming up. Also, more of a serious situation, but conspiracy related as well in the 9:00 hour after we do the alien talk is the new movie, The Sound of Freedom. Debuts July 3rd. Tabitha and Lizzie talked a little bit about it last week. We'll show you that trailer. Also, talk about some superstars over the last decade or so who all of a sudden died while exposing Epstein and child sex trafficking. You be the judge in regards to, is there something more to the story there? We'll break that down. Got some other fun videos to cover as well. So we appreciate you jumping in for this free-for-all paranormal conspiracy theory Friday. And yeah, Kathy, I'm with you on that. Are you with me on the aliens being a bunch of BS that people like Tabitha try to promote like aliens are here when we all know that there's no such thing?
They are here.
That they're evil spirits or fallen angels. There's no such thing as aliens.
I don't believe they're fallen aliens, but they are here.
Or Kathy, were you talking about you are with me when I say, yeah, there's some things tied to people dying all of a sudden in tragic circumstances who just happen to be working movies or documentaries trying to expose sex trafficking or child sex trafficking. So anyway, appreciate you jumping in. Tabitha, good morning to you. Happy Friday.
Good morning.
this
Happy
is-
4th of July weekend.
Yes, cancel the
So
show.
exciting.
.com. Check out all of our original content. And as we were talking about in the pre-show, please check out our Facebook Reels and our Instagram Reels. Check out our Facebook page. Go there, like that. Check it out. It really gives you an idea of what we're about. Have some damn cool stuff going on with our videos, those shorts, those 15, 30, 45-second clips that give you a flavor of what we're about, the interviews that we have. They're starting to blow up. Lots of people liking those. And those are great to send to people as well. When we talk about promoting the show and doing all kinds of things, we love it. Yeah, Kathy says completely ridiculous. Both Vic. Thank you. I'm with you. I was just trying to fire Tabitha up.
You are not.
Peter says, I want a shot for Mexico. I don't know what that means. A shot.
He
for
doesn't want to
Mexico.
take the jab. I wonder if he means a picture from Mexico.
I don't know, but we have listeners literally all over the world. Peter's in Mexico. Peter, sorry we weren't able to get in contact when you were in town, that's for sure. But we appreciate you jumping in. Like, subscribe, share the show. As always, please like, subscribe, let people know what we're about. If you have guest ideas, show topics, let us know. We'll jump on, and we're grateful for all of that as well. Okay. Joe Biden. It is a Friday. We're going to have some fun. This guy has lost his mind. Oh, but Vic, we already know he's lost his mind. Yeah, we know that because, first of all, the affirmative action ruling came out from the Supreme Court yesterday. And if you really break it down, it's really interesting. There are some liberals losing their effing mind over this. Oh my God, you people are racist. The court's racist. Blacks will never have a chance again. Do you realize how demeaning that is to an African American or a black person?
No question.
To say that
Yes.
they don't have any chance of success unless they're giving a head start? How racist is that comment?
Very racist.
And
Very,
it-
very.
I mean,
And
okay.
if anything, the Supreme Court decision to end affirmative action when it comes to college applications actually helps the Black community because it's really more aimed at Asians than it is at the Black community. So this actually gives them potentially more opportunity.
This is also time for
Correct.
me to call out and back the Asian community. If you were all for what happened, guess who was getting screwed over? More Asians.
Correct.
That's how this all came about. We focused on one a few weeks ago, guy who had a damn near perfect SAT score, pretty much well-rounded individual. He couldn't get into Harvard, but once again, who wants to go to Harvard these days? And all my Harvard friends, oh yeah, you'd go there in a heartbeat. Bullshit. I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. After they're jumping in bed with Lori Lightfoot and the most liberal, unsuccessful people in America to promote an agenda, not promote education. Yeah. So number one,
It all needs to end.
you're ripping African Americans and you're demeaning them by saying they have to have a head start. This is 2023. It's not 1950. Give me a break. Then you're trying to push Asians down and say, well, we like the way it was. Screw the Asians. That's a bunch of crap. And then, not to mention, you get into other races. So give me a break. And then I started to see those real evil people say, well, our people are already coming up with ways at colleges to get around this. I mean, that's all over Twitter. You have enrollment professionals saying we're going to get around this one way or the other.
And people will find loopholes. They will find ways around. But, Vic, the day that you were out, Lizzie and I talked a lot about affirmative action. And I said that day that I think all affirmative action needs to end
Yes.
because we are no longer in the place we were whenever affirmative action was put into place. Now we need to hire people based on their skill level, based on the criteria, based on the education. We need to, have people enter schools, universities, and colleges based on their academic criteria. We have to stop with the affirmative action. It needs to end all across the board. At this point, the only thing it's really doing is holding minorities back.
Correct.
It is.
Correct.
I mean, I think the hearts, again, the feelings get put ahead of the facts, as we've talked about before. It's very interesting. I had a situation with my dad when I was a kid too. It was the first time I ever heard about affirmative action. I was like, well, that's not fair. My dad was a cop. He was going to be a state cop, tried out, and he finished like 20 points ahead of an African American, and the African American on the 20 points ahead on the testing. The African American got the job over him because of affirmative action.
And that has happened
about 20
so
points
many
higher.
times.
Well,
So
It was
many
19
times.
points. to
This
be
makes it
exact.
fair across
So
demographics.
as a kid, I'm like, well, that doesn't seem fair or right or just. How could anybody think that it? But even as a kid, I got it. I'm like, well, why do you need a head start?
Right. Kids even understand that.
Well, and why is it that the companies, and I understand, back when affirmative action was put into place, I really wouldn't have even agreed with it then, but I at least understood why they did it. But when you tell a company that you have to hire so many diverse candidates, regardless of their skill levels, regardless of anything else, I mean, just because of the color of their skin, we know that's
Yeah.
wrong.
Well, my African American friends are every bit as good as me or other friends.
No
in
question
every one of
about
their
it.
Mine
businesses,
too.
and they don't want head starts.
No.
Diane tells us, hey, when you take the St. Louis Metropolitan PD promotion test, St. Louis City Police test, you get extra points added to your score if you're Black. I can't say that I can verify that. I don't know.
I've heard that too.
I've heard it.
Yeah, I've heard it. Yes.
And it's not just that. There are so many other programs where you get extra points for being minority.
Well, you also had a Supreme Court justice yesterday, African American justice, ripping the decision, which pretty much rips African Americans.
Yes, it does.
Thank God Clarence Thomas then ripped her, another African American, about it just to keep things in perspective. And then I guess we shouldn't be surprised that the dumbest president in the history of our country, leading the worst administration in the history of this country, and I'm sorry if it comes off cruel, it's just fact. I'm not worried about feelings on this, comes out and tries to demean our Supreme Court, stating that it's not that important of a court.
I know it's not.
Give me a
funny.
break.
Joe Biden came out and said that yesterday about our Supreme Court. And I hate hearing this. He says it's not a normal court. Quote,
It's not a normal court.
a normal court.
Like he would know.
And you're not a normal president either. Give me a break. So he comes in, he says this because he doesn't get his way. And unfortunately, we've seen AOC do this. We've seen other Democrats say this, that if they don't get their way, well, we don't like the Supreme Court. We're going to change it. We're not going to listen to this. We're going to do whatever we want to do. It's not a normal court.
He's not a normal guy.
No, he's not.
All
a
this at
normal
the same
guy.
time where he doesn't know where he is, what's going
He
on.
has no clue.
I mean, seriously, once again, and if you find anybody that said that they would vote for Joe Biden with all the evidence and all the facts out there, you know they're turning their head away.
Did you see, and I'm not trying to change the subject, but did you guys see another quote by Biden yesterday where he stated he knows the polls are down. He knows the polls are down. And they were down the last time too, but he still won.
Oh,
he goes,
yeah.
the polls were down, but I still got 80 million votes. I'm like, you absolute moron.
Right.
And by the
he
way,
just admitted
It's a Friday. We welcome in our friend Jonathan Heslop from Rockwood Charcoal, the best charcoal anywhere. We're going to change his name in just a second
That we'll all be using
because
this weekend.
Yeah, you're not Nicole Jenkins.
Are you Nicole? Have you been drinking Bud Light? Is your name Nicole?
Yeah.
Not today.
And
not
we'll get you
today.
turned on here. Hey, buddy, how's life been?
It's been busy.
Yeah.
It's been busy. This is the end of the busy season.
Are you you deliver your own charcoal to places too, don't you?
A lot of places, yeah.
I mean, you're a super successful dude, and you're out there
I was
racing around in your truck, getting
rolling
charcoal.
around in the box truck yesterday. But have you ever driven a big truck like that, a big 26?
I have. I worked as an insulator
Okay.
and a roofer, and I would deliver product and materials. But the insulated is when we had the roofing truck was smaller, but the insulation truck was massive.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of cool because you don't need turn signals in a truck like that. You just start coming over and people scatter.
Oh no, don't say
I
that.
would imagine.
Don't say that. You know you're going to get fired up.
Yeah.
The grandma sitting next to my lap.
Hey, no.
Tabitha's like, oh my God, those big trucks on the road.
Well, only the ones that drive dangerously.
Are you having problems keeping your product in stock?
This time of year? Oh, yeah. Yeah. So we produce a lot over the winter so that we warehouse it and build it up because sell it quicker than we can produce it in the summertime.
Are you a popular guy around the 4th of July, not only for your charcoal, but are people asking you to do barbecue? Because people may not know, but you're also an expert barbecue being in the business that you're in.
I'm okay at it. There's a lot of people
really
better.
good.
There's a lot of people better at it, right?
Do you run?
I don't know about me.
Yeah.
I do my best.
You know what's interesting? Robert brings up an interesting point because we hear what this administration does and people in cities like New York trying to burn business owners when it comes to charcoal oven.
The government's already trying.
I saw that with the pizza ovens the other day.
Do you worry about that with charcoal?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's mainly out in California. I mean, California's a big market for us, and I've got to put special labeling on the bag just for California. But out there, they don't allow open fires because of the wildfire issues out there.
Oh, you can't barbecue in an open fire?
Depending on where you are, sometimes open fires are banned.
Idea. It makes sense, but I didn't realize that.
Well, and we also have the government trying to say, oh, it's a carcinogen. You know, if you grill meat and it has any little burn bits on it, you're going to die from cancer.
Correct.
That's so the California thing always worries me, especially the back half of the year when the wildfires break out. If they can blame it on a campfire, if they can blame it on a charcoal grill, that could be the next thing. So luckily, there's 49 other states that aren't as bad as they are.
Yeah, you're in the show me state, baby. I don't think that's going to be happening.
Yeah, but
do you sell outside of the state of Missouri too?
Oh, all 50 states. Yeah.
Okay, then there you go.
Yeah. My largest market outside of St. Louis is Atlanta, and then northern Florida is big, but California sells a ton of charcoal.
Barbecue areas.
Yeah.
Warmer weather too.
Yes, but California, the issue out there too is, I mean, you talk to the people in the milling industry that we know, and all those wildfires out there come from the fact that they aren't allowed to log, that the environmentalists have shut down their ability to log. And
oh my God, what an interesting perspective.
Yeah, it makes a huge tinderbox. I mean, the one reason, we get wildfires in Missouri that happen, but they're contained pretty quickly because the National Park System and Mark Twain Forest, they allow the burn-offs and they allow logging in there. So it goes in and they fell the smaller trees that shouldn't be there. They take the bigger ones, they replant, and it keeps the thing from becoming this, like I said, the word tinderbox that is just going to light off.
It's a really big problem through California. There's all the dead tree, all the dead wood just laying there waiting to ignite.
Yeah. And the wild thing about it too is that after those wildfires happen, what you got on the floor of those forests is charcoal.
That's right.
It's charcoal. And after that happens, it's so lush because the charcoal gets into the soil. And then the new forest grows, and it's just completes the cycle. It's a natural thing. So we take out anything that's below an inch in diameter. That's what falls through the grating, and then the big stuff goes in the bag for the charcoal. The other stuff goes in for what we call biochar or agricultural charcoal, and that gets sold and goes in the soil, and it provides almost like a micro reef for all the little critters to live in. And it puts every time somebody harvests something out of the soil, you're taking carbon. It's carbon holding up that stalk of corn or wheat or whatever it is. So we put that back in the soil, and it's amazing what it does.
I had no idea.
Talking with Jonathan Heslop, he is the owner of Rockwood Charcoal. It's sold all over the country, specifically in the St. Louis metro area for our listeners. You can get it pretty much anywhere, right?
In St. Louis, 120 plus locations. Yeah. Any Deerberg straubs,
Did you go to all 120 yesterday in your box truck?
No.
Hit
about 5 yesterday along Manchester. Some of those places they pick up at our warehouse. Deerberg's does their own distribution. Straub's has a central distribution. So it's usually only the smaller stores that I have to go to direct. But it's kind of fun because I get to go there and I get to shop while I'm there.
Well, see, we love talking to you about charcoal. We love talking to you about politics. We love talking to you about world events. So we pop those things in. But I do have to ask a question.
Go for it.
From one of our viewers. Hey, Jonathan, what's the difference with briquettes versus Rockwood with regards to flavor of smoked meats?
Well, the briquettes can have all kinds of stuff in them that isn't wood. Let's start out with just not necessarily my charcoal, any lump charcoal. If you're burning lump charcoal, you're going to be doing better off because all it is, 2 ingredients, wood and fire. That's it. So if it's coming from Missouri oak, hickory, whatever, you're starting out with something that's already going to be good. Now, the briquettes can have all kinds of other stuff in them, and that's filler, like limestone, like starch to hold them together, borax to get them to release from the press. But the nasty stuff that they put in those things is anthracite, and it's also known as coal fly ash. It's everything that comes out of the Ameren power plants that doesn't burn when they fire the coal-fired power plants. The EPA went and banned those coal fly ash ponds that are around those power plants. So in order to get rid of coal fly ash now, they put even more of it into briquettes. They're using you as their disposal, basically, for their hazardous waste. And coal is used in pizza ovens. Coal is used in your house and everything. But coal can contain sulfur and can contain other kind of chemicals in it that, for lack of better words, stink. So you're putting that underneath your meat, which you're going to eat, and it's nasty stuff.
Not to mention the flavor that you get when you use Rockwood. I can tell you from experience, it's way better. Nobody knew that I used Rockwood or a different charcoal, and everybody complimented the flavor of the
Yes.
There's just no comparison.
We used it as well. I mean, it really is, and not just because we're trying to promote you and bring you in. The stuff is damn good.
I used it
and
last
healthy.
weekend.
So it's healthy.
So with ours, the difference with Rockwood versus the other one, we just kiln it longer than anybody else. So it's a much higher carbonization, which allows you more temperature control. But in the end, we're cooking out everything that produces smoke out of it. So you're left with very little smoke flavor coming out of our charcoal. Now you're saying, well, I'm going to smoke. Why the hell would I want to use that? But it allows you, the chef, to control the smoke profile and the intensity.
Which is exactly what when I'm smoking, that I have a giant box smoker.
Yeah.
And so when I use the Rockwood, I get my fire going, get it up to temperature the first hour. I throw in different types of woods.
There you go.
For your flavoring for the first hour. And then after that, it's just maintaining it until it reaches the right temperature.
And if you're using a smoky charcoal or something made out of some South American stink wood,
it's a disaster.
Like a walnut wood, that's all you're going to taste. You can put as much apple, peach, expensive smoke woods in there. You're never going to taste it. All you're going to taste is the most bitter, nasty wood in there. That's what's going to overpower everything else. And if you're using that on fish, poultry, cheese, or whatever you happen to be smoking that absorbs smoke like crazy, it's going to overpower it.
Oh, wonderful.
And we tried that last weekend. We actually had a taste test using yours and then using regular charcoal, and asked our family and friends which one tastes better. Everyone said Rockwood, and they're like, there's some strange taste, and it was the charcoal kind. So it was just kind of fun. The briquettes. The briquettes.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. Get the word charcoal out of a lot of those briquettes, because some of them are not even charcoal briquettes anymore. They are coal, which comes out of the earth versus being made out of wood.
They burn very differently as well, because I have a bag of your lump charcoal, and I will tell you what, it burns so much hotter that you don't need even nearly as much. A bag will last you a very long time.
And that is one of the aversions to it, is it's very expensive, but you're getting more in the bag. So we kind of call the briquette the hot dog of the charcoal industry, because it's all kinds of fillers and nastiness, and it's
and it burns through so fast.
Yeah, and you're left with a ton of ash, because it's half that bag is water, limestone, and things that are heavier than carbon that don't burn. And then you're throwing that away later. So the lump charcoal, that big 20-pound bag that I gave you, that's going to cook down to less than a cereal bag or cereal bowl full of ash.
Because when I use regular charcoal, I have to make a big mound.
Yep. Yeah.
And when I use yours, I make a little tiny mound, and then I spread it out, and it's so thin, but it's enough to maintain.
It's roughly twice the BTU.
Yeah.
That's available in that bag. Now, you don't have to use all of it at once, and if you've got a smoker that you regulate the oxygen to, like a big green egg, something very tight, you can load it up, and it's not going to reach a really high temperature. It's going to maintain a low temperature for 24 hours, basically, because you're limiting the oxygen that can get to it.
We're talking with Jonathan Heslop. He is the owner of Rockwood Charcoal, legitimately one of the best charcoals you'll find in this country. It's a national product. So for all of our viewers and our listeners all over the country, you can go in, check out Rockwood. I don't think there's a better spokesperson for Rockwood Charcoal or charcoal in general and what it is than Jonathan. We're grateful to have him in the Show Me State. I have to ask you one more question. Did you see some?
Yeah, I've got it on here. The Dirty Jobs, that was actually Strumpf's charcoal out of Steelville, Missouri, that they've since closed. That was the plant that I flew over in the helicopter that got me into the charcoal industry.
Oh, fantastic.
That I saw.
I just saw that pop up. We had another
Yeah.
question. Do you by chance make wood pellets?
I don't do wood pellets. We do sell some of our charcoal fines into the wood pelleting industry that get ground up, and they make charcoal pellets out of our stuff. I can't tell you which ones, but they are out there. Springfield, Illinois, that's the one I'm laughing about here, because we've got 2 pallets leaving today going up to Mark's Lighting in
there you
Springfield
go.
on the
There
south
you
side,
go, Adrian.
right by Cozy Dog. But also I believe the Ace Hardware's up there, sell it as well. But yeah, Mark's, go down there and see Mark's. If they don't have it today, they'll have it on Monday when it gets there.
Make sure you sell it out in Vandalia, Illinois. That's where I will be.
Vandalia, Illinois. Yeah, Ace Hardware's out there.
Oh, yeah. Right there at the County Mart.
All right, Jonathan's sticking with us as we talk politics and have some fun. We wanted to make sure we had Jonathan pop in because, heck, you've been in talk radio for a long time too. That's why you're so good at this. And
thank you.
We love it when you come in and have time to do it in a busy time. When you walked in, we were talking about the comedy show that is Joe Biden as a president, or at least leading in that role. Not only did he say yesterday that the Supreme Court is not a normal court, what else did he say, Tabitha? What else did you bring up just a second ago?
Oh, when he was talking about how he knows that the polls, he's down in the polls. And he says, I was down in the polls the last time too, but I still got 80 million votes.
That's going to be fine. chocolate chip. That's my ice cream flavor. chocolate chip. But then he outdid himself. This isn't him stumbling and bumbling all around, not knowing where he is. Old Joe yesterday, he had another episode on MSNBC during a live interview. Joe, so unaware of his situation, his surroundings, and what was going on, he gets up and just leaves before the interview's over. I have never, ever seen this in 24, 25 years of being a television news anchor. Anybody get up and just, unless they were pissed, and then okay, something happened. Here, check out the video of Joe getting up and just walking off right in the middle of the interview.
I said I'd be a president for every American, whether they voted for me or not.
Well, and the ones that didn't vote for your bills but run on them.
That's right.
Mr. President, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate
it's great to have you.
Thank you.
Don't go anywhere. It's a very exciting day around here. We'll have reaction and analysis to everything we just heard.
She's laughing.
Back after a short break.
She's laughing. Oh.
She knows that he has no idea what's going on or where he even is.
Nobody can vote for that man. Come on.
80 million people will.
Yeah, 80 million.
80 million ballots will be.
Yes,
correct.
will.
Ballots, not people.
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody walk off. And I could not stop laughing when I saw that yesterday.
He has no idea what's going on. None.
Just when I thought that he couldn't, lower the bar, he continues to lower the bar over and over and over again. I go to chat lines, and I did hear more people yesterday, at least on Twitter. It's like, we got to seriously get a different candidate somehow, some way. But then, of course, we have Democrat Drew, who joins the show, who says, of course, he'll be voting for him. And we know that's because of the pride issue. And I don't want to say that Drew is uneducated, but he's got a pride issue, and he will never admit that Democrats have it wrong with Joe Biden. Dear God. Let's keep getting up and walking offset. And it's bad enough to do this as the selected president. It's worse if you're somebody who's going to stick up for him.
People are saying that he pooped in his pants.
Oh.
And that's why he got up. I don't know if that's true or not. They said, watch it again and watch that there's poop in his pants.
Wait, Joe,
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Before we go to Booty Juice, can we see Biden walking off again?
And see if he pooped his pants?
I don't know, but I think he was smiling like, oh, no.
And watch how he lifts himself up from the chair, because that is what elderly people do.
We'll see it here in a second. He lifts himself up, you said?
Well, yeah, he grabs onto the chair handles.
He does start to
lift himself up. He's you can see him start preparing himself.
Okay.
He puts his hands on the chair handles. See, there he goes. He's getting ready.
All right.
I guess he's getting up.
See, that was not an easy, smooth get
No,
up.
that was hard.
Oh, I didn't say it was bad, but I trust you.
He does look like he has poop in his pants. Look how he's walking.
Well, he always
That's
walks
how
like
he
that.
always walks.
He always has poop in his pants.
and there's no problem laughing at this when he, his wife, and the Democratic Party continues to run him out there as allegedly the man with the most powerful position in the world. But we know that that's not the case anymore.
No.
It's wild if you go back and watch videos of him. I mean, I'm not talking back to the 70s and 80s. I mean, this guy's been in Congress, 40 years now?
46?
Yes.
He's a completely different person.
I mean, totally different person than that. But I mean, go back and just watch his debate videos from when he debated President Trump in this election or the past elections. It's amazing to see, sad, I should say, to see how much he's declined in just 2, 4, 6 years.
If it's even him.
And then is it worse that people would still vote for him?
That's,
I keep saying there's no way the Democratic Party can really legitimately run that man. There's no way.
You go back to the election of 2008 and everything was based on McCain, his age, one heartbeat away from the presidency, all that kind of stuff. And
yeah, that's right.
And he looks like a 30-year-old compared to Biden.
And everything was based on, back then, was age and McCain's cognitive decline. That's wild.
And they've never completed any type of cognitive testing on him, on Biden, that they've released to the public. Never have we seen it. But remember how they demanded that Trump have the cognitive testing? Remember that?
I do remember
Never.
that.
And what I'm most frustrated about, it's at Republicans. Why aren't our Republican leaders demanding that people wake up and take notice? Why aren't they demanding?
Because they're scared of who's going to take the White House.
And maybe that's the case, because McCarthy meets with them all the time, allegedly.
Yeah.
Why doesn't he speak out and say, Biden is not the guy making the decisions? He's not the guy I'm talking to, because this guy is not capable of making decisions.
Yeah, but they also know that Biden will not be removed. He will not be removed.
He will not be removed.
Unless something comes from way, way, way at the top of the puppet master situation.
But they owe it to us. Republicans owe it to us.
But we also had last month Obama's former doctor, who performed all the MD work on him and his family, said that Biden is unfit for office. He actually said it. He came out and said it. Yet you still have people, and we try to educate people on the show. We bring all opinions to the table. You still have people that think that he's fit for office, which makes me wonder about those people. It's like
they're lying to themselves.
They are lying to themselves.
Well, how about Pete Buttigieg, the U.S. Transportation Secretary, who was selected for a position, who has just been dreadful from the start? He tried to back up Joe Biden. He tried to back him. He was given the text. I can only imagine the look on Buttigieg's face. Or as President Biden called him, booty juice. That happened 3 weeks ago. Here's Pete Booty Juice. He called Pete Buttigieg Booty Juice. Don't ever forget that. Can you imagine the text that Booty Juice got going, you have to go defend the president, going, oh, shit.
Not again.
Are you kidding me? Not again. Well, the other thing Biden has done recently is not once but twice. He has referred to the war in Ukraine and as the war in Iraq.
That's ridiculous.
Well, we already know that, he already said that Putin was losing the war in Iraq. That happened this week.
Which is just unbelievable. And then to do it twice is insanity.
Here's Mr. Booty Juice defending him on CNN. Even CNN asking some tough questions.
Secretary, on another matter, twice this week, President Biden has referred to the war in Ukraine as the war in Iraq. I don't have to tell you, he has been facing doubts from voters about his age. He is the oldest president, of course, in the nation's history that we've ever had. One of those instances happened as he was leaving the White House today. What do you say to people who are concerned about his age and slip-ups like the one he had today?
Well, what I say is I wish you could be in a room with him the way I often am, seeing how he is simultaneously focused on a big picture vision and very focused on details. Look, this is an administration that has been extraordinarily effective. And, frankly, one of the cases that I made back when I was running for president at an unusually young age is that the only thing that really matters is your ability to do the job.
Yeah.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
I liked how he made that about himself as when I was running as an unusually young at a usually young age, trying to set himself up for a future run. Self-serving, but defending Biden.
How can anyone
Just in
defend
a sh-
Biden? How?
And do it with a straight
How?
face. How can you?
How can he sit there and say that Biden, he can have a meeting with Biden and that somehow he's focused and together? Because we know that that's not possible. We know he's lying to us.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. And Bindy's on here saying, "Oh yeah, the location of a war isn't an important detail." That's so funny.
Our administration has been extraordinarily good, has been extraordinarily successful in what? We know the American people don't really believe that. Really?
It's just constant lies that come out of his mouth too. The one I keep hearing lately is that billionaires only pay 8%.
Right.
And the Wall Street Journal, of all things, busted him on that and published what came out of the IRS, that billionaires, the upper 0.001% or whatever it is, that they pay an average of 23 point something 7%. And that's numbers from his administration right there, his government.
You mean just like how he lied to us and said, tax increases, they won't affect people who make under $400,000 a year,
Sure.
when in fact that's who it primarily affects.
Well, and even if it's not a direct tax, inflation is a tax. It's the backwards attack of tax. That,
and it's a trickle down effect. It's passed on to employees.
Absolutely.
Another story that we've covered recently, and it's interesting, and it goes all the way to the top. President Trump and 4 other presidential nominees or hopefuls, Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley. You've got former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson. They're all going to be speaking at the 2nd Annual Moms for Liberty Summit. That begins today. Of course, Moms for Liberty became a big story just a few weeks ago because essentially the FBI allowed, I'm trying to remember, the Southern Education Center for Poverty labeled them as a terrorist group, the Moms of Liberty. So they have now become super, super popular. And now you have presidential hopefuls racing to their summit to speak all of a sudden,
if you care about your children, you're obviously a terrorist.
Correct. You can't care about your kids these days. You're a racist and a terrorist if you do.
Well, with that being said, though, it's interesting. The Moms of Liberty story came out when they were put as a, quote, so to speak, domestic terrorist. They become a real public, they're a power player now, where the party is really looking to these moms who came out and did something. They started to focus on their kids at schools. And it's not only getting called out nationally and having the Republican Party come behind them, but just in the state of Missouri this week, you had the public school district of Springfield, Missouri, refuse to give a affirmative statement or a statement of support to the LGBTQ community. They said, we're not going to promote something that's not about the A, B's, and C's of school. And it blew my mind. That came out. Are things shifting? We always talk, you have to have people that are willing to stand up, and it's not always easy at first, and it never gets easy. But Moms of Liberty come out, they get blasted, they get put on a domestic terror list, and you have parents who are now standing up, as you've talked to us too about, Jonathan, and standing up for what your younger kids are going to have to deal with. Do you have hope when you see a story like this from Springfield?
It's scary. I know just down the street here in a couple years ago in Rockwood School District, they called the FBI on those parents that were going in that were talking, and then they had the metal detectors, and they were, private security they'd hired or off-duty police, but they'd spent so much on that. And these were just parents that wanted answers because they found out that the school district was hiding that literature from the parents knowing what the children were doing.
I remember that the books in the library.
The books in the library, and a lesson in class too. There was an internal email of the parents don't need to know about this.
Right,
is what it said. So they went to complain, and what happens? They get the FBI called on them.
Yeah, don't you think? To me, at least, how I feel is it doesn't matter how you feel about LGBTQ, how you feel about gay folks. What it matters is that school is for learning. It's about education. It's about curriculum. It's about math. English, reading, it's science. It's absolutely not about social issues.
Yeah, and grooming. And if you do want to put your child in that, then you send them to a private school based off of your religion or a religion that you want them to be part of, and then they raise them to be men or whatever.
The Southern Poverty Law Center is who labeled and put the Moms of Liberty on their list as a terrorist group. Then you had the Springfield Public School District coming out and doing what they did. And then New Jersey, just yesterday, the governor of New Jersey is now fighting back at parents and school districts who have said, no, we're not going to do what the state wants to do. We're not going to listen and force our kids to do these things that we don't feel. And now the governor is trying to come back and hurt the school districts with less funding and not allowing them to rule over their own school districts.
Right.
It's happening right now. You can't make this stuff up. It's unfortunate, but at the same point in time, it's some of that backlash that we see in the communities. And, we want to be patriotic about our country. We want to love this country, but at the same point in time, there's so much infighting that's going on. I did see, watching Fox and Friends this morning, national polling, Americans who love where our country is or feeling great about the country at an all-time low at 39%. And that could go a variety of ways. It could be Republicans saying this is crap. It could be Democrats saying, well, we don't like what we see either. But kudos to those parents and all of those school districts that are trying to do things, especially after what we saw happen with the Moms of Liberty. Now, all of a sudden, they're a power player. So you see where the Republican Party's going. They're going for those moms. Eric's talked about those moms.
Soccer moms.
Eric showed up to a school event.
Moms.
Soccer moms.
And by the way, Jonathan Heslop is also a part of Eric's Platinum Rock Legend band.
An integral part.
You make Eric look good with the lighting, right?
Yeah. Without the lights,
take credit.
Can't see anything.
Exactly.
And you were also at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I was. Yeah. Yeah. We went up there. I think at the final count, I think there was 16 of us.
Yeah, it was a lot of people.
It was.
Jonathan is
it's fun.
Jonathan actually dresses up more than we do. He's the only guy in the United States that actually dresses like the band. Seriously, the first day I saw him dress up in the wig and the spandex, I was like, oh, come on, you're getting out of hand. Now his outfit's way better than mine.
I love it.
I took inspiration. I took inspiration from you. My mom made me that scarf that hangs off.
Oh, did she really?
Off of the scarf matches the headband and then it hangs off my belt like you. I got that. She got that idea from your costume.
Nice.
So
come on, I'm a trendsetter, Vic.
Jonathan Heslop, of course, the owner of Rockwood Charcoal, national brand. The best charcoal you're going to find. He explains everything to a T like a scientist. If you're just joining us, of course, you can get it in the St. Louis area or pretty much anywhere in the country as he goes. Love him talking about his 4th of July barbecuing, what you got to do. Tabitha loves the stuff. The food does taste different. Check it out. Tabitha Hassel's here. Eric Johnson, Lizzie Sparks running the chat line. Jonathan's here. I'm Vic Faust. And speaking of lighting, Pro Joe makes us look as good as we possibly can as well. So you guys have something in common. Is Joe doing all right in here, Jonathan?
I think we look good.
He needs smoke and lasers.
Wouldn't that be interesting?
But other than that, he does really good.
We'll certainly work on it. One other thing that we wanted to get into as well. I haven't played it. We've tried to get to it the last couple of days, but we get so damn busy. You've probably seen it by now, but it's worth seeing again. Dana Carvey, David Spade, making fun of Fauci. Did you see this yet?
I saw a picture of it. I haven't watched it.
Well, but this isn't so. I was expecting it to be like on Saturday Night Live when you guys said it.
Oh, okay.
I thought because that would have been that would have been amazing.
Yeah.
But these guys were just kind of poking fun at.
But it was still funny.
I thought it was funny.
Go ahead and play it
on Fauci.
Let's.
We're gonna pull that up right now. Pro Joe will get it taken care of in just a second. I think what was funny to me is that it came out of nowhere, and I'm like, damn, Dana Carvey and David Spade going after him because Dana Carvey's liberal, isn't he? I mean, isn't he pretty focused?
I have no idea.
See those? Okay, hold on.
He hangs out with a lot of guys who are conservative.
See, I think the '80s Saturday Night Live
remind me of each other.
Weren't that liberal? They're not like they're not like the no names of today.
No, they hate the cancel culture. They hate it all.
Like there was an era of Saturday Night Live where you still knew what their name was. And then it ended because you don't know anybody on Saturday Night Live anymore, do you?
No.
There's no Eddie Murphys. There's no Joe Piscopos. There's no,
Well, there's a big difference too. Back then, they would poke fun.
Yeah.
And it was funny. It wasn't mocking. And what they do now is they mock. And you go back to the Dana Carveys, or when he imitated George Bush.
Yeah.
And he got invited to the White House.
I remember that.
Because George Bush thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, wouldn't be prudent.
Yeah, exactly.
Was it Chevy Chase that mocked Ford falling down the stairs and,
yes,
and all that
remember
stuff?
that.
You don't remember that?
That was Chevy Chase that did that initially.
And he's very liberal.
Yes, but it was poking fun though. There's a difference of making fun of somebody or teasing somebody about something they did, a gaffe or whatever, and then just outright mocking someone, and that's what it's turned into, and that's why it's not entertaining anymore.
It's not.
Because
it used to be hilarious, and now it's not funny. But don't you think that maybe Dana Carvey and David Spade are seeing? Look at Roseanne Barr and the success she's having with her show.
Wait
Look
a
at
minute.
Rob Schneider and the success he's having with his show.
Yeah.
Two people going out with conservative viewpoints, having comedy shows
he is
that are
conservative.
amazing.
Although he made a joke. Did you see it recently came out? He made a joke about President Trump, and he says Trump hates him. And he makes fun about it now. He's like, I made one joke.
You're talking about Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider. Isn't that what you said?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he is hilarious.
He said, I made one damn joke about the president. He hates
Well,
him.
here's the deal with comedy. You still can do a conservative show, make a fortune, but you're only playing to half the audience now. You're only playing to half the United States.
Because people are so polarized.
You polarize into the theater that you want to jab at. So if you want to be a liberal, comedian, you're going to play to liberals. If you want to be a conservative comedian, you're playing to conservatives. That's all there is to it. The payoff pitch is going to be when Roseanne gets her show.
Yeah, coming up in the fall.
That's going to be that's when it's over.
Cancel this.
Yes.
I did check in to see if we could get any royalties, and unfortunately, they put an exclamation point on it.
Oh, well, then Greg Gutfeld will get all the royalties.
Yeah. Bingo. Not us, unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the video of Dana Carvey and David Spade making fun of Fracci.
They took the audio away from
You're lying. You are lying.
And look, it says no.
You're lying.
Video has no sound.
That's crazy.
Find it somewhere
I
else.
believe you.
They do that to us sometimes, so we understand.
They do?
They strip our sound off of some of our videos, yes.
That's quite interesting.
No, that's
find it. You got to find it.
It's another form of
I'm
censorship.
going to find it. We'll find it.
Well,
Go on YouTube.
If you can pop it up, let us know. By the way, in September, we are there. He's a St. Louis comedian. His name's Max Price. We're going to have him on the show. He's going to come in studio. If we can find a comedian before then, we will. But he's another guy that says, I just don't get into all the cancel culture stuff. He's going to be headlining the Funny Bone, St. Charles County one. That's coming up in September. So he's going to come in studio. We'll have some fun with him. Start adding some comedians to our.
Well, I would love to see a comedian that you didn't know if they were liberal or conservative. I would love.
That's how he feels.
I would love to go to the Funny Bone or to the Fox and go. I literally have this guy jabs at everybody equally, and he kicked. Eddie Murphy used to do that. Eddie Murphy, you never knew what he was. You'd go to see
matter. It was because he was funny.
It was funny as hell.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dana Carvey. Those old 80s guys, you would think they're conservative, right?
I think Adam Sandler is conservative. At least I've heard that. I don't know if it's
that
true.
would surprise me.
I have heard that.
I went to see, it was about 3 years ago, Nick Offerman at the Stiefel downtown. And I went there thinking I was going to see Ron Swanson.
Oh,
and I was all excited because that character is hilarious to me. And he couldn't be more different than that. It was totally unexpected.
Yeah.
The presentation there, and he got into some really bad stuff. He started harping on religion, called prayer a sanctimonious act.
Damn.
But there was a religious convention that was going on downtown. I believe evangelical. Half the people got up and left.
Wow.
Because they got offended?
Because they were offended when he started, bad-mouthing religion and just saying, and it was very surprising. And I didn't have anything else to do, so I'm like, I'm going to stay here, watch the rest of it. I paid for the ticket, but it was, definitely not the character. But I didn't know I was going to a presentation like that.
Well, here's Carvey and Spade poking some fun at.
He found it.
The Fracci.
Did he find it?
I think so.
I miss COVID. I know. Dude, you know when I knew there was trouble? When anyone that came to our country didn't have to get a vaccine. And I go, if you're telling me I can't go to work, but everyone coming in doesn't have to get one, I go,
well, once we found out when Fauci said, Okay, I'm sorry. If you've had 2 boosters and 2 vaccines, you can get and give COVID to another guy who's had 5 vaccines and 4 boosters. What's the difference between a vaccine and a booster? I don't know. It's just more vaccine, but booster sounds better. Anyway, a guy with 25 vaccines would get and give COVID to another guy with 25 vaccines. That's why I'm introducing the daily COVID shot. Every day you get a shot. By the time you get to your car, you got no immunity. But it's a beautiful 39 seconds.
It's the truth, though.
I miss that. Was so That was so good.
It's the truth.
It's amazing they took the audio away from that video, right?
Oh yes.
He sounds like the little flying guy that was Luke Skywalker's handler back in Star Wars.
You did.
Doesn't he?
We used to play that.
I can't remember what that little guy's name was.
Oh my God, what is that?
Yeah, it sounds just like him. You give me $80, I give you Luke Skywalker. Funny, man.
Yeah, I know.
Look, the little flying dude.
What is that guy's name?
It's someone from Facebook will figure
Somebody
it
will
out.
get it here.
Yeah.
Well, our viewing audience is good. That was awesome. That was absolutely. He looked like him. He sounds like him.
And his eyes at the end.
Yeah.
That was so funny.
And where did that little dude fall off the earth to?
Well, he took his $1 million prize.
He was here in St. Louis for the Wash U commencement.
Oh, yeah.
May 15th.
File the science.
Yeah.
That's right. He was. And he did, when he was there, he was still Watto. That's right.
That's it. Watto.
Watto. That's
Watto.
right. That's right. Luke Skywalker's a slave handler. That's right.
Joe, we've worked you pretty. I'm going to try to. You've got to find some Watto sound.
You can actually Lizzie. You can thank her for that one because she found it with the audio.
She did.
Can we hear some Watto?
Get some.
Some what?
Can we hear some Watto?
What do you mean?
Oh no, she found the audio with Carvey.
Right.
Oh, good job. Look up Watto from Star Wars, because I tell you what, Watto should sue Fauci for plagiarizing his voice. That is for damn sure. It's unbelievable.
I think I found some Watto.
Did you?
I did. I'm gonna. It's funny as hell. I'll send it. It is.
Yeah.
We've got it.
It's anything
Bro,
goes
Joe,
Friday.
I'm sending it to you right now, my friend.
Okay.
Anything goes Friday. That's okay.
It is. Yeah. So once again, he's gone. Thankfully.
Yeah.
Hopefully, COVID's gone.
So how much briquette did you sell for the 4th of July weekend? A lot.
June was the biggest month. I think we shipped.
Yeah, but how
50,000 bags.
Do you ever go by a backyard and you look back there and there's your bag and you go, what?
Yes, I see it. Open garages.
And you go, what you got, bitches?
Open garages. I get such a kick out of that, especially in stores.
Yeah.
And when I travel, anytime that the kids and I go anywhere, we'll stop in an Ace Hardware. Jill and I stopped in an Ace Hardware in Honolulu.
Yeah.
And they had it down there.
Hell yes.
Shut your face.
That's the best story.
But the kids and I, we stopped in Florida, and we'll stop at places. And when I travel, I meet people, then they're like, "Oh, we use that."
Yeah.
That's just
You're like the PRL of charcoal.
It's like it's a celebrity status, like you, Eric.
I don't know anything about them. Look at
I got recognized at the event up there. There was a couple people at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that I do business with. That
I've kind of promoted him as like the Rolling Stones of charcoal. Like
so you went above my head. Is that what you did? Okay. All right, whatever.
I'm sorry.
Well, I guess you're right.
Hey, let's check out. This is a free for all Friday. We for those who might be new to the show or checking us out on Fridays after 4 days of hardcore news stories and politics. We try to have some fun on Fridays.
Yeah.
Here's Fauci's cousin, brother.
Now this guy definitely has a liberal
relative,
face.
whatever.
Go ahead and play some Watto for me.
Yes, Rubian. We have lots of that. No money, no parts, no deal. What, you think you're some kind of Jedi waving your hand around like that? Hey, maybe you could help with some deadbeats who owe me a lot of money.
That was him talking to Trump. These are hidden Trump tapes.
Oh my God! Somebody ought to dub that. Somebody ought to put those two together.
Yeah.
Make a video of that.
Mhm.
Hilarious.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Watto, Anthony Fauci.
Yeah.
Love it, love it, love it. This is cancelthisshow.com. Jonathan Heslop from Rockwood Charcoal has been joining us. Before we go to break and start our second hour, by the way, Marco Rubio's now come out and made you believe that aliens do exist.
I keep seeing this all over the place.
We got
what the hell are
interview.
you talking about?
We got an alien on a Ring camera in Arizona too, Eric.
I've watched the whole, and this is all about David Grush and his interview, and I watched the whole thing last
Oh my
night.
God, he's still around? David Guerra, the guy from Art Bell's old show?
No.
Okay. I was about to say.
He's a former naval intelligence officer. We'll talk about when we come back from the break.
Guy.
I had to drive in from Nixa in the middle of the night last night, and I listened to the entire full interview. It was wild.
So we got that coming up. Plus, we're going to play the trailer of Sound of Freedom movie coming up. This is more of a serious deal and conspiracy theories regarding this, about sex trafficking and hundreds of kids that were rescued. You can't make this stuff up. And then the massive celebrities who have died in freak accidents, who were in the middle of doing documentaries on Epstein or child sex trafficking. And it's the who's who of people who've died over the past 6, 7, 8 years, even one going back over a decade ago, which it'll blow your mind.
And the dozens of people leaving Putin's side lately. Have you seen that?
No.
It's all over the place. Have you seen all the people that
we
Putin
had a
is
whole show
offing?
about it?
Was I here
the other day?
Was I here?
No,
I don't think you were. We had a whole segment about it. But no, we also talked about in Ukraine how Ukraine is tied to child trafficking, and they just made some arrests there of men who were trafficking children's organs, children that were 1 and 2 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're back.
We can't end the week like that.
Well, no, we'll come up with something better at the end of it.
Okay, UFOs are fine. That's fine. We'll get the Rubio.
We'll have something fun. I'll fund something.
You got
better.
some Ring doorbell UFOs? Is that what you got?
No.
Is that what you got?
But it is the 4th of July weekend.
Eric, kind of.
Before we say goodbye to Jonathan, too, just some reminders about 4th of July weekend, charcoal, things of that nature. You were kind of bringing up, you were educating everybody earlier because we have new listeners in, people coming in where they can get your product and why your stuff is so damn good.
It is good. I'm telling you right now. He does a Memorial Day Memorial Day barbecue with PRL every year.
Yeah, down at the lake.
It's different for some reason, just better
because it's clean.
Is that why it's better? You think?
Yeah, it's just it's 2 ingredients: wood and fire, and it's using the best woods out of Missouri, which Missouri is the #1 charcoal producing state in the country. About 80% of the charcoal that's made in the United States comes from Missouri because we have the best wood here.
Damn, you keep dropping bombs on us. Had no idea.
Yeah. And the charcoal industry is really big in the state because it goes back to the metals in the iron belt down there. Everything
Steelville.
It was used to be making steel. Yeah, and so it was a big export for Missouri back in the late 1800s and everything, and then it kind of transitioned over to for barbecue purposes. But yeah, all that knowledge and that wood all came from Missouri.
What do you think about all the stuff that's happening in New York with the pizza ovens?
We were talking about that earlier.
Was I here?
Yeah,
I wasn't.
No, you weren't here.
No, but it is interesting to bring that up again. He's actually legitimately worried, Eric, that there could be some sort of governmental control over charcoal.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is that carbon emissions. I make carbon for a living and sell it for the purpose of burning. But, we do it in the cleanest way possible because there's not a single tree taken down for charcoal. We're getting everything that's too knotty, warped, or whatever that can't be used in the milling industry.
Yeah.
So it's virgin wood, but it's not things that can't be made into flooring pallets, things like that. And that comes to the charcoal plant. So we're using a waste product.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of our waste product is being used in agriculture. So we're burning half of it on one side. We're burying it on the other half with the agricultural charcoal side of things. And then all the emissions that come out of the plant for the state of Missouri, it has to be fired at 1,500 degrees. So it's crystal clear smoke.
There's never been anything in Jeff City that you go, they're talking about this in Jeff
City.
Oh,
I'm not worried at all about the state of Missouri. Governor Parson worked in a charcoal plant.
He loves barbecuing. Okay?
Yeah, he loves barbecuing. Rockwood is what they use.
You know the governor. You know him pretty well.
They use Rockwood at the governor's mansion, and he worked in a charcoal plant.
Right, they do.
The Cardahan family owned a charcoal plant, and it wasn't until the late Mel's brother sold the plant when the EPA was allowed to come into Missouri and start regulating.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
But they were, the plant down in Elsinore was.
Our whole family is down from like the Piedmont Mill Spring down in that area.
Yeah, they kept them out of Missouri long enough until. And then finally, Missouri was kind of the last state to have to crack down on the plants. But it needed to happen, unfortunately, because of the emissions.
Maybe you could sell those carbon scrubbers with your charcoal.
It's a process. It just needs to be fired. Now that's the threat is all the charcoal that comes in from other countries. They don't have any regulations on how they can go out and take down as many trees as they want.
Mm-hmm.
They can use slave labor to process it. and then they can pump as much particulate into the atmosphere. So
does most of that crap come from China?
It's coming from South America, Brazil, Peru, Argentina,
with all their woods.
Yeah, and it's really it's really hard wood. My deck is made out of acacia or one of those really hard. They call it tiger wood. It's terrific for decking. It makes horrible charcoal. I tried to take the scraps of it, making it. It doesn't work. It's terrible.
Yeah,
but so they've just got an unregulated market down there to tear down whatever's in their path. So they're doing terrible things for humanity and the environment, but that they can get that stuff into the United States for cheaper than what we can make it for up here.
That's how crazy our government is. You know what? They will come down on you for having clean charcoal, but they still allow aspartame to be in different food products. Oh. They allow now pink slime to be used in your ground meat, ground beef, but yet, you might have some actual clean charcoal. We better come after you.
Yeah.
What's pink slime?
You know what? We'll talk about that next week.
I don't know.
That'll be next Friday.
And people will never eat hamburger ever again.
Oh, God. Could you imagine if she was your mom? Sit down. It's pink slime time.
Oh, my son eats dairy.
I can't afford the meat, but I got the pink slime.
Hey, Jonathan, thanks for coming in and hanging out with us, bud.
Great to see you.
Can we get you in next month?
Absolutely.
We'll get you in next month. We'll talk more. Have an awesome weekend. Let's see if we had a question for you somewhere. No, we didn't. Okay. But when we come back, we're jumping right into that alien story. Marco Rubio, I'd say he's a pretty well-respected politician.
Yeah? What about him?
About aliens.
Okay, go.
I mean, he's pretty much letting it be out there that, yeah, they exist. They're here. I'm on the
How does he know?
He's going to tell us.
He has top security clearance.
Come back with that. Plus, you won't want to miss that trailer for Sound of Freedom. And just when we remind you of the celebrities who have died in recent years while at the same time they were doing documentaries on child sex trafficking, and trafficking related to Epstein. Yeah, that's like the only document these days that's secure, seems like. The Epstein document. Presidential documents all over the place. Not the Epstein document.
I say, hold on.
No, jump in.
Platinum Rockwood Legends charcoal. Come on, man. Why did I not think about this earlier?
We're going to co-brand here?
Seriously. I mean, you could put Will's little face right on that thing, and we could sell 1,000 units today.
And they come with a free cone.
In St. Louis, we could.
Platinum Rockwood
By the
Legends.
way, for our viewers and listeners in the St. Louis area and all across the country, if you need a marketing genius, a creative wizard, Eric is the guy.
No, because I come up with that. Come on.
Eric has one of the most creative minds I've ever. That's
Platinum Rockwood Legend charcoal.
That is damn good.
Yes,
but he doesn't believe in it.
And it could be like the old Kiss cards. Like every card had a different face on it. Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley. It could be all the characters.
Autograph bags.
Come on, man.
NFTs. They could all be NFTs.
Could you imagine that going
NFTs? Thank you, Tabitha, with your faces on the bags.
I mean, I wouldn't have to be on there, but
they wouldn't like
Meeps could get on there.
We could.
You could do this national too for other people in other states.
What are you talking about? That's my idea.
It starts.
Who's getting the royalties here?
You are.
That's the question.
It's all you, big. Okay. We get the glory. You get the love.
Okay.
You have enough money. Let's spread the love. We're gonna be liberal today.
All right.
Spread the
Rockwood Legend.
No such thing as capitalism.
Yes.
Jonathan Heslop's here. Lizzie Sparks running the chat line. Pro Joe on the engineering board. Eric Johnson, Tabitha Hassel, Vic Faust. Full house. Back with more. CancelTheShow.com. Right after this, share the show, please. Like, as Lizzie says, smash that like button and that subscribe button. Back with more right after this break.
And now it's here. The unveiling of the latest Carroll House lifestyle collections. I'm Brooke with my sister Amy, inviting you to see 3 football fields of the latest styles.
Our new lifestyle collections are premium quality furniture made exclusively for us and available only at Carroll House.
The attention to detail is unmatched, and so is the value, nearly half the price of a typical gallery store.
Plus, get free financing, delivery, and in-home design. Carroll House, because you like nice things.
Marco, wait. What? No response? Hi, I'm Curtis Sparks with Complete Auto Body and Repair, offering full service and auto repair to St. Louis and St. Charles. We are looking for someone to say polo. That's right, we are hiring. We want you now. If you would like to work in a well-paying environment, then you owe it to yourself to stop by one of our 6 Complete Auto Body and Repair locations. Will you help me find that missing person? Please call me directly at 636-488-HIRE. That's right, 636-488-4473.
Dad, and service.
Oh yeah, and service.
He fixed the car.
Kathy O. Big Strick, owner of Experience Real Estate Partners with eXp, has been one of St. Louis, Missouri's highest selling groups for 26 years running. In that time, Kathy and her team have successfully assisted an incredible 4,000 families. So if you're thinking about buying, building, or selling, be sure to put Kathy's group and their experience to work for you, and you can expect to be moved. Just give her a call at 314-276-SOLD. That's 314-276-7653, or find her online at experience-re.com.
As all of you may know, the home of the Cancel This studio is located at the all-inclusive private jet hangar, Strategic Air Services. Founded in Chesterfield, Missouri, they take pride in offering a meticulous approach to private aviation through services that fully manage your trip from takeoff to landing. Strategic Air Services is more than just storage for your aircraft. They offer state-of-the-art amenities to its members and guests. When you are not traveling, you have the luxury of enjoying their world-class gym, conference rooms, lounges, and so much more. Strategic Air Services offers an unparalleled luxury experience for all things private aviation. If you're looking for a new place to call home for your aircraft, give them a call today at 636-400-7601. Again, that's 636-400-7601, or visit their website at strategicairservices.net.
Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley, if you don't know, is a family-owned business that has been around since 1994, serving some of the best chicken wings in town, no joke. Also known for their fresh burgers, pizza, and incredible smoked meat. Top-notch happy hour specials are included, plus live music every Friday and Saturday. Oh yeah, you can also enjoy their spacious heated covered patio. It's Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley, 18,000 Chesterfield Airport Road. What's Drake's? Look at the chat. Drake's?
Yes.
Where the hell is Drake's?
I just saw that. I don't know where it is, but I know I've passed that up.
By the way, welcome back into canceltheshow.com. I'm Vic Faust with Tabitha Hassel, Lizzie Sparks, running the chat line for us. Eric Johnson here, Pro Joe on the engineering board. We're based out of the St. Louis area, of course, for people, but we have new people who come in and out all the time. But we cover national topics. We have people that watch from all over the country. Happy
birthday, Joe, before we get too far and I forget.
Joe who?
Joe, I don't know if I can pronounce it.
Joey Z.
Zerfla.
Joe, yeah, I call him Joey Z.
Joey Z. There you go.
Joey Z, happy birthday to you. Also, I see Ben Count on there. America's Best Restaurant Tour. Stopped in at Winty's yesterday. So went over and spent some time. Lizzie, I never saw you. I guess you were lounging in your pool. I told everybody Lizzie was going to be there, and
I did text you and tell you that I wasn't coming.
You did?
I did.
Oh, I didn't see
where?
that.
Well, I wanted to come, but then it was so hot outside, and so they moved my kids' practice.
Oh yeah, you did.
Later time.
I didn't know what you were talking about.
Yeah,
oh,
sorry
wimps.
I didn't even know about
that's
it.
What I said.
Me and Vic used to
that too.
practice in 200 degrees.
I did too.
2 times a day.
I literally said that. I said, you're literally canceling practice because, and it wasn't even my daughter. She plays volleyball. It was the soccer boys could not practice outside.
My Lord.
I'm like, you big, I'm not going to tell you what I said. I said, wussy.
First of all, you're soccer players. That you got to start there. Second of all.
Right? It was the soccer players. It wasn't baseball.
I thought you were going to say
played outside. They did. So it ruined my plans because I had to move it all around and take her to accommodate the wussy soccer players.
It's unbelievable.
No one tells me anything.
Is it time to use her sound drop?
Balls.
John Wayne. Sorry, what? What was
Balls.
that? Balls. Yeah,
can we hear it a bunch?
Right, those soccer players have no balls.
No.
No balls.
Balls.
Yeah.
Balls and soccer players.
Right.
Our reward was water in 100-degree heat. It wasn't a necessity.
You had water?
Yeah.
Damn.
I'm a little younger than you, so I came after you.
Man, I tell you what, when I was, I wish way back in the day, Tabitha, I played at Pattonville High School.
Woohoo!
When I was
Pirates.
when I was a sophomore in high school, and my mom and my dad worked, I had to get on my bike and ride from Dorset all the way to Pattonville at 8 a.m, ride all the way back at 10 o'clock, ride all the way back at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, ride all the way back at 5 o'clock. How many times a day did I have to do that in 200-degree weather?
You sound like my grandma talking about walking to school at 4 a.m.
I'm just
over
saying,
the hills and
us Gen Xers are tough ass. I was about to say,
we are.
I was about
we
to
are
say
tough
something.
asses. We are tough
these
asses.
Gen
the
Xers,
second greatest generation.
So
Us
what
Gen
happened at
Xers.
Wendy's
that's right.
yesterday? I don't even know.
Yeah. Oh, no, so
one
Wendy's-
told me. I have no clue. what was
Tabitha,
going
we've been talking about it for weeks.
I have not heard you guys say one word about Wendy's.
Oh my God.
I was not here one day last week.
Even Joe has his hands on his face.
You couldn't have gone
I wasn't-
yesterday anyway.
No, I was out of town working yesterday.
Okay.
I think we've talked about it on a couple different.
It must have been the days I wasn't.
America's Best Restaurants. It's online. They go and they focus on the best. It's like diners and drive-ins on steroids because they hit everybody. They came out. They had their video crews there interviewing people. Very cool for where Wendy's has come just in the last 3 years.
I love Wendy's.
To get recommended for that.
Yeah,
to
Wendy's
get,
is great.
To get selected. So, yeah, they had their lighting setup looked like Joe's set.
Oh, really? That's neat.
Yeah, which was cool. Getting video inside, getting video outside. So yeah, that was great.
I am so incredibly happy for
the
them
guys
that they
loved.
were-
They
get to be part of
had
that.
it's like a Thousand Island burger where you have these burger and you dip it in this sauce. I've never had it. I'm embarrassed, but I'll try it anyway. So that's where we were yesterday.
I really am so excited for them
To get
that
the
they
4th
were
of July
part of
weekend
this.
kick-started and rocking and rolling.
Do they still not for now? If you're over in Jordan or somewhere else, you won't know what I'm talking about. But do they still do the VP Fair here in St. Louis under the arch?
No,
Not
but
under
they're-
the-
no,
well,
no, not this year. They
but-
canceled it for 2023.
Yeah.
Why did they do that?
At one point in time, for all of our listeners, this was the 4th of July celebration in America.
I
In America.
don't think they call it the VP Fair or the
Monterey.
They
St.
call it
Louis
Fair
now.
St. Louis,
Right.
and they're supposedly having some little bitty thing. And a lot of St. Louisans are very upset. And you know what some of the response of the officials were? Is that it's too Americana.
Oh, that's why they canceled it?
Yeah,
Not
true.
because of the people
No,
getting shot in
no,
the crowd?
it's not because of that.
I will
You're
ask.
right. It is too Americana.
I will
It is
ask.
too Americana.
I know every single person on their board. I volunteered for Fair St. Louis for all of those years up until COVID hit.
Yes.
And I will find out. I will get to
Yeah, find out. Find out what the
because
I think it's because it's too
I know
unsafe.
every person in
It could be
VP.
because it's too unsafe.
I went
for sure.
I went down there. Never mind.
That's
It's not. That is absolutely not why it is.
5
not
years
because
ago,
it's
I went down
not
there and I was
safe.
like, "This is just not the VP Fair anymore."
That's
This
not
is-
why. It's
Are
definitely.
you sure?
I am positive that wouldn't be why. You know, for a
It's not.
while
I
there,
promise you to.
when they were doing the construction at the Arch, they held it at Forest Park.
Right. And that was good.
And it was nice, absolutely so. And then they took it back down to the Arch, and I don't know what is going on now.
Find
But
out.
I will definitely
Because how
find
do you
out.
take America's celebration right in the middle of the country, right under the St. Louis Arch, the VP Fair with the and back in the day they had the parade. You guys remember
Yeah,
the parade?
It was so cool. It
They
was
had the
so
VP,
cool.
the Veil Prophet Parade, and you would all end up there, and Elton John would be underneath the St. Louis Arch,
Yeah.
and then right after Elton John might be the Doobie Brothers, and after the Doobie, and you're like, damn, and you go get a hot dog, and then boom, there's fire. How do you take that out of St. Louis?
Well, one thing I will tell you is all of the people that are part of the VP organization, the Veiled Prophet organization, I probably know every single one of them. I have been friends with them for many, many, many years since I was a kid, some of them. And I will tell you what, they are a good group of people, very patriotic, great,
it is.
great group.
Eric, this has nothing to do. It's not because of being.
I wanna
too
find
American.
out.
I promise you.
I will ask.
It's they're resetting it, and they said they're going to come back with a fair in 2024. It was now why I don't know, but they're
Damn.
coming back in 2024.
That makes no sense.
I mean, but you can't. It has
kind
to
of
be.
like
Hold on.
kind of like St. Louis policing. They're reimagining it.
It has to be family friendly.
Yes.
It has to
Yes.
cater to the baseball Cardinal crowd, the Blues
Yes.
crowd, the old Rams crowd. It has to bring people in from West County, and it has to be safe. Boom.
Yeah.
No pressure. Go.
And you know what? In all those years that we had the fair downtown at the Arch, and I worked every one of them, there was never a
Never.
problem.
Never.
a
Never.
problem.
You could let
We
your
went there all the
kids
time.
walk.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes. We went all the time.
I mean, I was like 7, 8 years old, and I remember walking down to the old military ship just to see it, and walk all the way back through that crowd to the little picnic place that we had.
I just text someone on the board, so we'll see if we can get an answer before the show's over.
All right, this is cancelthisshow.com. It's a free-for-all paranormal Friday. Anything goes, and kind of under that mix from the paranormal standpoint. Okay.
Oh, the air show, too. I'm sorry.
Oh, I love
what
the
air
air
show?
show.
You don't remember the air show with the Harrier that would just live there right over the crowd?
No, I wanted to make sure I knew which air show you were talking about, because
that's right.
The Blue Angels show, which is in the Chesterfield area, was canceled this year.
And it is amazing.
And
it's one of the best
that's
air
supposed to
shows.
come back next year. So that's why I had to ask which show. We've talked about this, and we focus when we have the alien stuff going on. Well, we saw what happened in Arizona last month. Tabitha knows the aliens personally. She's got them on speed dial.
She's friends with them.
I just messaged them to see if they want to come in.
Marco
today.
Rubio got serious about this in an interview. Tabitha said, we got to listen to this. Well, here's Marco Rubio talking about this whole alien episode.
Oh, boy.
What's This isn't Tabitha talking. This isn't George Norrie. By the way, I texted George to try to get him on. He's like, Vic, I told you, I can't do Fridays. So when we get George, we have to tape George because he travels on Friday.
We can do George Norrie Tuesdays.
We're
Who cares?
But George is interested because George just recently interviewed somebody.
Yes, and it was a fantastic
Look how excited
interview.
she gets.
I am excited. But before we play the Marco Rubio clip, I just want to add that when they refer to an interview, because all of this stems and all of the media coverage recently stems for an interview that David Grush gave. It's Grusch. Go out, listen to the entire interview. It's too long for this show, but this is what Rubio is referring to.
Okay.
News Nation's Washington correspondent Joe Khalil just wrapped up an interview with Rubio a little while ago. He joins me live now. All right, Joe, this is quite a development. I know you've been trying to track down Rubio for quite some time. I don't think any of us expected him to say something this explosive. Break it down for us.
Yeah, it was a big deal, Brian. And so let's start off with the fact that Grush himself, self-admittedly, is a second-hand witness bringing these claims forward, right? So he is not in the rooms seeing these alleged aircraft. He's not involved with these alleged programs that exist, but he was talking to people who have seen those things. He was getting information from people who were in those programs. Well, tonight, Senator Rubio said that he, the senator, has heard from those firsthand account witnesses to some of these claims. And I tried to press him and asked him in a number of different ways. Okay, the people who are saying that they have seen these things up close and personal, spacecraft and others, you have heard from those people who've made those claims. And here's what the senator told us. I'm going to play a big chunk of our exchange.
We'll say there are people that have come forward to share information with our committee over the last couple of years. I would imagine some of them are potentially some of the same people that perhaps he's referring to. I want to be very protective of these people. A lot of these people came to us even before these protections were in the law for whistleblowers to come forward.
Sorry, people who have had firsthand knowledge, who claim to have firsthand knowledge of seeing this type of thing?
Or have firsthand knowledge or firsthand claims of certain things. Some are public figures, and you've heard from them in the past. Others, have not shared publicly. And so we're trying to gather as much of that information as we can. And the reason why I'm being cautious, I'm not trying to be evasive, but I am trying to be protective of these people. Some of these people still work in the government. And frankly, a lot of them are very fearful of their jobs, fearful of their clearances, fearful of their career. And some, frankly, are fearful of harm coming to them.
So that category of people who have firsthand knowledge, who say they have actually seen these kinds of things, do you find many of them credible?
Well, I don't find them either not credible or credible because we have no basis. Understand some of these claims are things that are beyond sort of the realm of what any of us has ever dealt with. What I think we owe them is just a mature, understand, listening and trying to put all these pieces together and just sort of intake the information without any prejudgment or jumping to any conclusions in one direction or another.
Yeah.
I will say I find most of these people at some point, or maybe even currently, have held very high clearances and high positions within our government. So you do ask yourself, like, what incentive would so many people with that kind of qualification, these are serious people, have to come forward and make something up?
True story.
Yeah, that really, he refused to say no, not credible. He's like, yeah, there's some really important people saying stuff.
And that's why you have to see the David Grush interview. It's a long interview. There's no way we would have time to play it. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you go into it thinking you're going to hear some wild stories, you'll be disappointed. Because what the interview is it's more of a validation. So David Grush, he is a whistleblower. He's a whistleblower on the United States UFO program, UAP program. He was a former naval officer, intelligence officer. He retired. He quit his job because he felt that it was more important to speak to the public about what the truth is behind the UAP investigations. He was on the board of these congressional hearings for the UAP investigation. He is someone who was very pivotal in interviewing people as part of the congressional hearings, as part of the UAP project that they're working on. He spoke to people that not only talked about humans being killed by some aliens, but how that they had some captured, how that they have had numerous aircraft, alien aircraft captured, and how we have studied it. He talked about Area 51 a little bit. He talked about a lot of things, but what I got out of this interview is that all of the things we've already heard, most of us have already heard these things, he validated it. Newsweek vetted him. They said he is absolutely credible. And it's up to your own judgment whether you believe him or not.
There's a lot of people been like that since forever. Project Blue Book, Bob Lazar coming out in the old days. He was called a ufologist or a hoaxer or whatever.
You saw a UFO, Eric, driving down that country road that one night?
I've seen weird stuff. My guitar player always thinks he's seeing UFOs. But the problem is, you can't prove it. It's like Bigfoot.
You can't prove a lot of things. It doesn't mean it's not true.
Right. You can see it, and I've been doing a lot of research lately, and a lot of the images that they came up with in the 60s and 70s, those UFOs look the same. So the way that you prove these things is, how does this person in Indiana, who's a lady who has a Polaroid camera, how did she catch a picture that's very similar to someone from South Florida, and the images look the same?
Well,
that's how you have
that's
to.
the question.
That's how you go about. If the government doesn't want to tell you that there's UFOs, that's how you as a citizen go, as a ufologist or a foo fighter or whatever you want to call yourself. That's evidence beat number one. How does this person A in Indiana get an image of something that's very similar to image B, right? So you go. So you have to nail down what are the odds of these people knowing each other. Oh, there's a third image. Look at this one in Colorado. Oh my God, all three images look the same. These are the same objects.
And don't you think you have to be fairly small-minded?
Hey, Projo, pop up the
to
picture
not
and get a chance.
believe that something exists outside of us humans on Earth when we know how big the universe is? We know how big it is. How can we not believe that something else
my
exists?
opinion? This is just my opinion. I think they are in project trickle out information. I think that the governments plural is in project give a little bit of information to these reputable people, Rubio, whoever else, let them trickle out. Now, I'm not saying there's UFOs or anything, but I heard some very credible information from the people at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. And then society shakes its head and go, wait a minute, that was Rubio that just said that. Or here's the Navy at some congressional meeting with some video footage of a Tic Tac flying around, and you're going,
a Tic Tac.
Wait a minute, what is that? And then I think they are setting us up, Tabitha. I think they are preparing the ground for, here is Yuli. He's from another star system.
Absolutely are. And, Trump has stated that if he is elected again, he's going to reveal everything. He's going to tell us everything. And will he? Will he not?
Obama was exceptionally evasive about the question. Remember that?
Right. He wouldn't answer it.
And if Biden had half a brain, he would be the same way, but he doesn't know.
Yeah, he don't know. He's an alien himself.
Tabitha brought in her ring footage of an alien that was
ready
on a porch.
Can't wait.
Because I got one of a skinwalker.
Good.
There it is.
Come on, man.
Joe, go ahead and you can play the sound. We'll play this.
Breaking footage emerging all over TikTok, emerging all over YouTube, all over Facebook, and Instagram and Twitter. This footage right here, literally an actual Ring doorbell camera footage. Someone named Pedro, we're not going to give his last name today.
Pedro.
He said that on the 8th of this month, right as all this UFO crash happened in Las Vegas, Nevada. This is what he captured on his Ring doorbell camera. This video will go viral, guys. This is an actual alien standing in front of his Ring doorbell camera. This was the short clip that
You actually called BS
I don't believe
finally. I ran that just for you as a joke.
I don't believe everything I
Vote
see.
for Pedro.
No, I definitely
so
do not
funny.
believe this. I do believe there was something more to that incident in Las Vegas. And the reason why I believe there was more to it is there's so much evidence. The police officer caught on he was unsuspecting, caught it on his body cam.
Yeah,
a green orb falling to the ground.
Okay.
We had 2 different people in 2 different areas call in to 911 and say they saw some type of being after the green orb hit the ground. We have the family that saw it who absolutely did not seem like it was a hoax. And there's even other interviews and other photos. I don't know what happened, but I do think something happened.
I know. It was a shooting star. It was a meteorite.
If you saw it, it did not look like a shooting star or a meteorite.
It was a shooting star.
I've seen him.
It was a big shooting star, Tabitha.
When I lived in
we saw the imprint it left in their backyard. And not only that, but the neighbors were all coming out because they all heard the explosion and they all heard the boom and they all seen the green orb land in these people's backyards.
I want to see that. I want all my neighbors.
And you can see it on neighbors' ring cameras.
I know it would be very sexy to have
But the
it be a
government will
UFO,
cover
but
that
sometimes
up.
nature is just as sexy. When I
Is your tractor sexy too?
Yeah, when I lived in Anchorage, Alaska, you would go out late at night and you'd have the northern lights going, and because you were so far north, you would see every shooting star that came through the atmosphere.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
And you're like, this is surreal. This is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I've seen about 1 million meteorites come through the atmosphere, and that's exactly what that was.
That is not what this was.
Well, maybe
because
not,
too many
it looks
people
like it.
saw it land in their backyard. If it was a meteorite, they'd say, "Hey, look at this neat meteorite." They could sell that thing for a couple $1 million.
Part of the challenge of being a good ufologist or a foo fighter is to be able to separate reality from.
I just did. I just said that little gray thing is not real. That's separating reality.
Well, that thing looked more real than the shooting star
Well,
did.
Eric, I was going through last night, and of all people, state senator, but U.S. Senator Eric Schmidt from Missouri posted this on his Twitter.
Here we go.
Why do we even know this now? The most likely states to survive an alien invasion.
Because they wouldn't want to come to Missouri.
How
That's
did they
why.
come up with that? How
Yeah,
did
who
they
made
reach
that up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eric Schmidt posted this on his Twitter last night because,
That's
as
funny.
you can see, Missouri, smack dab in the middle, Missouri, Illinois, Wisconsin, and then all the way down, was that Louisiana, Alabama, Georgia, Virginia? I can't see the New York. Is that New York?
Yeah.
And
It does makes you
Massachusetts.
wonder why.
Why?
Right. Why?
Maybe because
Well,
of
first of
our
all, aliens
water,
don't like
or-
Waffle House, so they're not going to come to Missouri. Second of all,
Everyone likes
Illinois
Waffle
has the taxes are way too high for aliens.
Oh, that's funny.
Now they can say they're illegal aliens, and then they got a little bit of an advantage in Illinois. Georgia, too hot,
But
humid,
Fox
muggy.
News ran this, and I'm like, why?
What in the hell
new
is
survey.
going on?
This is getting
I'm
stupid.
sure they told. We just don't know the context.
I'm starting to believe some of the people on the chat line with all this stuff going on. What are they distracting
What is
us
cave
from?
systems? Jerry
Really?
just said at Vic cave
system.
Oh, well, that makes sense. And that makes
Oh,
sense.
because okay,
That does make sense.
so we could go into our cave.
Georgia has caves. All these states do have caves.
Yeah,
so that's where we're
true.
headed. If there's
I
an
bet
alien
Jerry's
invasion,
I'm
right.
not going to no damn cave. I don't want to die in a damn cave.
Well, the
Neither
aliens
am I,
might be
because
there too.
They'll just pull out the HARP machine and cause an earthquake.
There we go.
Well,
That's
Heart
right.
machine.
That's right. That's right.
There we go. Harp.
Oh.
This one went
They'll
off the
pull
rails.
out the
today.
HARP machine.
This one went off the
Oh,
rails.
my
today.
God.
It did.
No,
It
but
did.
you know what? You guys have to go back and listen to George Norrie's show. I think it was from a day last week.
Oh, by the way,
Or
George
earlier
said
this
he will
week.
come on and talk. Tabitha says, Vic, we got to get George on.
We
tonight."
have to have him
So
on.
I texted George. Nori got right back to me. Vic, we can't tape on Fridays. I was like, okay, I'll find a date. We'll get back to you to do this story that Tabitha's talking.
You know what? Maybe we should go down to Napoli and do a show with him because that's where he hangs out.
Well, and
Oh, wouldn't that be fun?
Let's do
and
that.
the cigar
do it.
club.
Come on, man.
And the cigar club
We-
over at the Ritz.
We have to do
Eric,
that
we'll
because
do it.
we have
We'll
to
do
talk to him about this segment that he did where he interviewed someone, and I don't know who he interviewed, but he interviewed someone who had firsthand knowledge of the fact that we did capture somehow a UFO and we did have the alien being And allegedly, this person said that we called in all of these different experts to try to communicate with the alien being, and no one could communicate. And then somehow the alien just disappeared.
And now he lives in your backyard up in Vandalia, Illinois.
He might.
He might live there
with the
up in the
bobcats
trees.
and all the other wild creatures.
Yes. Remember when remember when they had that hoax UFO thing back in the 90s? What was his name? The guy from Star Trek. Remember when they did it on Fox? They released the alien autopsy. You remember that?
No. Was it an
You
April
don't remember the
Fool's Day
alien
deal?
autopsy?
No.
Do you remember the alien autopsy?
Absolutely.
And it was fake. It was fake.
How do you know? I believe it was fake, but how do you know it was fake?
I don't know that it was fake, but I believe that was the beginning of the trickle out of the alien invasion.
Oh my God. Jay, I laugh. Just like if aliens came to St. Louis City, their spacecraft would be on blocks.
Oh, boom! These comments are
For the
on
win.
fire
For the win.
about this.
For the win.
And stripped down.
You know, aliens showing themselves in 2023 wouldn't even be the weirdest news story of the day. That's the craziest part.
Yeah.
Aliens just discovered down at the Del Mar Loop. In other news,
found him in the ground wearing pride wear.
Aliens see the crossfire of gun shooting going on.
and they leave for a new solar system.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
They're like, screw that shit.
4 million
Show me
years of
state,
research
show
and
me another state.
no doubt.
They probably think we're all crazy. There is no question about
I'm
it.
telling you, these Gen Z TikTokers might look at the alien story for like 10 seconds and then move on to the
Right.
the
They
next-
don't think it's any big deal.
No, because
Not
they
at all.
probably know it's true. Most people that I've talked to about this, particularly young people, absolutely believe that there is other life.
Wow, what a revelation. That is a true thing. I just thought if there were aliens, right? And you're a Gen Zer, you've seen images of these little aliens since you've been alive, right?
Right.
You wouldn't even give a damn.
They could be walking right on the street, right on the sidewalk, and they would just go, "Oh, hi," because they look like the robots that now bring, Uber Eats.
The little 18-year-old influencers would be like, "Oh, how gauche! They don't even wear clothes."
They've done polling on this. They've actually polled people. It was I watched an interview about the polling last night, and they said that the majority of young people do believe there is life.
They do.
That visits other types of extraterrestrial life that visit.
They're
here,
waiting for
sure.
Gen X to die before they release it.
And most
I'm
people,
telling you right now, I guarantee
they want
it.
us gone.
I'm sure that's true. They
It's
said
so
also
true.
most people in the polling said they were also not fearful.
No, because
Yeah, they're not
in their
scared about
mind they're already here. Look at AOC.
Yeah, they already think they're here. Yeah, that's true. She's an alien.
Yeah. Look at Corey Bush.
Yeah, for sure.
This is cancelthisshow.com. We've been having some fun. Eric, I promise you we'll end on a better note.
Oh, I think this is a good note.
No, I know, but we got another conspiracy theory type of deal we got to go through.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
and I do have an update for Fair St. Louis when we later
do it
on.
right
when we
now.
have
Do it
time.
now. Do it right
now. Do it now.
Don't bury the lead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
do it.
okay. Let's see here. I haven't read it yet.
Tabitha,
So
come
it
on.
says
Read it raw.
Yeah.
It
Read it raw.
says here, it says, the main issue is there's no place to host the event. Last year, the footprint didn't work well. No room for big entertainers.
What?
The Arch Ground National Park Service doesn't want the volume of traffic anymore. And Forest Park doesn't want the venue. So it's a matter of not having a venue to host.
Yet in St.
Fair St.
Charles
Louis.
this weekend,
Yeah,
you're
is
going to
what
have
I'm
the,
told.
isn't it the Doobie Brothers? It's,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they literally have good artists out. So St. Charles, Missouri, O'Fallon.
Yeah.
It's gonna have- it's gonna-
O'Fallon, St. Charles, all having big acts.
So
But
they
Fair
just
St. Louis is hundreds of thousands of people.
No, it used to be a million. So what I guess what they did is they just split it up into smaller little venues, and guess where it's at? It's in West County. It's in the suburbs.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
And they're
Isn't
just
that
all
unbelievable?
split up in little groups.
So the suburbs can't even use St. Louis anymore.
Yeah, that you talk about bullshit. That
That
is
is
true. Why
bull
can't we go
crap.
there? And we send tax dollars and our resources and our money, and yet we can't go there because why?
because of what that mumbo jumbo that Tabitha talks about.
I don't believe that
is going to come to
I don't believe that Forest Park didn't want it. I'm sorry. It was super successful at Forest Park.
Well, yeah, but it was, but it wasn't as. Trust me, for me working all these years, it was not as successful at Forest Park as it was when it was downtown. Mainly because they don't have the space for everyone.
That's true.
They just don't have the space.
That's why I liked it better.
And there's no parking. The parking, trust me, even me as a worker, I volunteered as a volunteer. I had to walk
it's not safe. It's
a mile.
because of safety issues. Because I remember the VP Fair. One of the things about the VP Fair, and this is topical to what we talk about on the show. One of the things about the VP Fair is you would unload the kids out of the car and walk 20 blocks to the arts grounds. So it wasn't about parking at all. Part of the deal was you just had to walk. Remember that?
But there's no parking in Forest Park. I mean, very, very limited parking. And not only that, but you have to remember when you have hundreds of thousands of people coming out to a venue, they're going to be trampling grass.
Is that?
They're going to need a place to park. And in Forest Park, when we first went from downtown St. Louis to Forest Park, it was not an easy venue at all.
We'll see where they put it. I mean, who knows? Who knows?
We'll see what happens next year.
It'll be interesting.
All right.
So sad.
There's a big movie coming out. Tabitha and Lizzie talked about this last week. It's called The Freedom of Sound, or The Sound of Freedom. It comes out Thursday. Or excuse me.
Technically on
Monday.
the 3rd.
Monday.
Yeah,
is
July
the
3rd.
The 3rd.
They put this for the 4th of July. Finally a movie. It's not a fun movie, but damn, it's about the rescuing of child sex trafficked kids and bringing attention to this, all while we still wait for something to go down with the Epstein log, the Epstein names, everything in this country happening, but nobody knows anything about Epstein and everything that happened with that whole situation. Jim Caviezel is the main actor in this. By the way, here, check out the trailer, and then we'll talk to you about people, superstars who've died over the years while working on documentaries regarding sex trafficking.
How many pedophiles you got?
288.
How many kids you found?
It is the fastest growing international crime network that the world has ever seen. It has already passed the illegal arms trade, and soon it's gonna pass the drug trade. Because you can sell a bag of cocaine one time to a child 5 to 10 times a day. God's children are not for sale.
How long you been doing this?
12 years now.
How many pedophiles you got?
288.
How many kids you found?
Timoteo, tú rescatas niños, ¿verdad? ¿Puedes ayudarme a encontrar a mi hermana?
Te lo prometo.
For Homeland Security, you know we can't go off rescuing Honduran kids in Colombia.
Which means she'll disappear for good. Imagine walking into a room right now, seeing an empty bed. What we do?
You quit your job, and you go and rescue those kids.
So at this moment, she could be a block down the road, or she could be at Moscow, Bangkok, LA. She's a major operator.
It's all rebel territory. No one goes in. Not the army, not the police, not us.
What if this was your daughter?
There's no Marine unit coming.
You're on your own. This job tears you to pieces. And this is my one chance to put those pieces back together.
When God tells you what to do, you cannot hesitate.
Yeah, Sound of Freedom coming out Monday night, technically, and then into the 4th of July holiday. Jim Caviezel. It details the real story of Tim Ballard, a former CIA agent who went to rescue 2 kids in Haiti and then stumbled upon this whole massive sex trafficking industry for kids.
Yeah.
And the Angel Studios is a fantastic studio. They're going to have so many other things. You know what's so great about them? If you go to their website, to Angel, I think it's angel.com.
Angel.com.
Look, but you can sign up. You can be part of their mission. You can donate money. And they have a new show coming up, which is going to be my new favorite show. And it's called Homestead. And it's a series, and it is all about a nuclear fallout. Basically, there's a nuclear strike, and this family has to, find somewhere safe. It's going to be really interesting. But if you go onto their website, you can join. You can support them. You can give them money, and you can also, some of your money goes to giving people free tickets for some of their shows.
I have never understood like the environment we live in with these mega millionaires that understand, because this is like I guess this is one small piece of like the Uyghurs, and then and just worldwide we use people to make super cheap products, sex trafficking, the whole 9 yards. How in the world have we turned a blind eye to this stuff?
2 million children, Eric.
How?
2 million children
Aaron
are
Bland
suspected
is
to be
right.
trafficking.
I watched the interview on this. Aaron says, I heard this script has been around for years.
It has been
around
but
for
nobody
years.
in Hollywood would touch it.
We talked about it on The Edge. Do you remember that? We
Yes.
talked about
I
this
do.
movie on The Edge.
I don't remember that.
2 years ago in 2020. We talked
wasn't
about this
it?
movie.
Correct me if I'm wrong. It was originally a movie that was going to be done by Fox, and then it was bought by Disney, and Disney put a halt on this for 4 years.
What?
And yes, for 4
If that's
years.
true, it's never. If that's true, that has never been told to me.
I'm almost positive. I talked to an acquaintance of mine. His name is Zipper Zeppa, and that's what he tells me. And he told me to come there on Friday. And
I know Zip.
yes, we probably need to have Zip on maybe Monday if we're going to be here. But anyway, he was telling. That's what he
It's
told
been a
me.
long, and he may be correct. It's never come up in any of the Disney presentations I've been to. But I will tell you, this movie has definitely been in the works for a very long time. A very long time.
So it's entertaining. It's truthful. It gets the word out there about what's going on. Is this one of those studios we were talking about?
Super actor and Jim Caviezel.
Jim Caviezel.
Yeah, we've
correct.
talked about Angel Studios
Is
three
that
or
the
four
one in
times
Texas
on the show now.
by chance? I can't remember.
I don't know. You asked me that the last time, and I don't. I don't
I
know
heard
where
about
they
like
are.
a multi-billion-dollar facility being built in Texas.
Faith-based films. I'll tell you what. Faith-based films are really, and this would be considered that, even though it's not about religion,
and that's
it would
crap.
be under that
This
same
is,
genre.
Yeah, this shouldn't be faith-based.
Last night I
My
worked
God.
a movie called Ordinary Angels. I mean, the faith-based films are really getting some
Dude,
traction.
if you were to put Liam Neeson and John Wick and the Bourne Identity guy in this movie, it would still play. Because think about it.
Maybe. Jim Caviezel got blackballed. He got canceled
Yeah, he
in
did.
Hollywood because of his Passion of the Christ debut movie. And
Yeah.
he was super popular before. Then he went on a hiatus. Now he just doesn't give
Okay, wait a minute. Let me
I
ask
mean,
you.
he calls everything out that needs to be called out.
This is a question for Tabitha. Is this the turning of the page of people who have been blackballed in Hollywood saying, screw you, I'm going to go over to Angel Studios and I'm going to do this stuff? And maybe they don't have to have a $1 billion weekend to be successful.
There's no question about it. You know, when I've been working in the film industry for 20 years now, and in the beginning, faith-based films, you would see them limited release, mostly just sold to churches, not often in mainstream theaters. Now you're seeing them in mainstream theaters. Look at Jesus Revolution, really changed a lot. As a matter of fact, I was with the folks last night who created Jesus Revolution and who marketed it. And, I didn't even know this. Do you know after Jesus Revolution opened, there were 5,000 baptisms that took place in Pirates Cove in California.
yes. That's
Not
beautiful.
to mention the baptisms that took place all across the country and the revivals that took place. These movies are really getting some traction.
That's great.
People are waking up and people are paying attention. And this one in particular, The Sound of Freedom, it's bringing awareness to the fact that there are 2 million children allegedly within the trafficking environment. And that's sex trafficking. It's organ trafficking. There are several different forms of trafficking. It's even adoption.
Do you think they'll?
People
This is a
adopting
question,
kids.
Tabitha. Do you think they'll ever do a movie about Epstein Island? I mean, see, there's so much content there.
Yes.
Do you
yes.
think that somebody would be so?
It would be hard to do because of the fact that we know so little. It's been shrouded in so much secrecy.
How many billions of dollars would that make? Just because the myth of the story.
Sure. But what would they talk about? It would be
I
a
don't know.
movie with a great big void because guess what? What was somebody who was arrested and is in prison right now for trafficking children to who?
Yeah.
Right. We don't even know who they are.
Why,
There's who they are.
How can you be arrested and in prison for trafficking children when no one will tell us who you trafficked the children to?
But you know where you could find that? The laptop. It is on the laptop. So a lot of the
It's
Epstein
all
stuff,
known.
people do know
Really?
it. On the laptop has the children that are being trafficked from Asia. Yes. Yes.
And look at what's going on in Ukraine. Don't you think that a lot of the reason why we're fighting so hard to protect Ukraine is to fight and protect our ties to trafficking? Do you know how many whistleblowers have come out and said that the United States government, our government, is actually behind the trafficking of children?
And you know, Mike Pence was over there, and I've been told time and time again, he was in on this, especially the organ. Now, this is just what I've heard. I can't back it up. But it kind of makes, and I didn't believe it at first, but now you see him over there getting all chummy with Zelensky. I'm sorry, but it's just too obvious to me.
Well, speaking of the conspiracy theory claims, which is what we do on Fridays too, Paul Walker, he died in a car crash.
Yes.
Now, Newsweek and Google will tell you he was not working on a documentary or talking about anything regarding trafficking, where there's a large community of people who say, yes, he was. He was even talking to our studio. It's very interesting when you think about some of those things. Remember Anne Heche died under mysterious circumstances not long ago?
Yes.
Where you see the body bag moving as she's
Yes.
being put into an ambulance.
And she was calling it out.
Once again.
What?
Google and
Why do I not
mainstream
know this?
media, internet will tell you that she was not working on anything from a sex documentary regarding trafficking. However, there are strong indications that she was. Another crazy situation that happens in Hollywood. Oh, but it doesn't end there. Let's go all the way back to Kurt Cobain. Did you know that when Kurt died, and this was well publicized, he was working on sex trafficking in the Seattle area.
What does that mean? He's trying to uncover it?
No, he was bringing things to light.
To light, yeah, uncovering it, exposing it.
He was starting to speak.
What?
Yes.
I heard the same thing about Chris Cornell somehow. I don't know.
Chris Cornell was on that list
too.
as well.
Yes.
I don't know what that's all about.
But the other interesting one is this, and is that Chester Bennington, the lead singer
Linkin Park
from Linkin Park,
Yes.
and Avicii,
they're all gone.
Yeah, we're working together specifically on an Epstein situation because they had been there or heard in their communities about this whole situation. Boom, gone, just like that. Now, Avicii had some other things surrounding him, but the fact with, and Jeannie says in Chester. Yeah, and that whole Chester situation, all of a sudden gone because of child sex trafficking.
All gone.
Yes.
At young ages.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that all peculiar?
It's
And they act like
a
it's all
conspiracy
drugs
theory Friday. I
or
mean,
car accidents.
it's not a fun one to conspiracize about. However, boy, it makes you wonder where there's smoke, there's fire with those situations.
And look at the JP Morgan executive. I can't recall his name right now. Who died at a racetrack this past week. And he remembered JP Morgan Chase is the bank that was so closely tied to Epstein's funds. And so many of their board members have allegedly been to Epstein Island. And then this guy is one of the major players in that entire deal with JP Morgan Chase. And now he is dead.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people that apparently went over to Epstein Island.
A lot of people. Isn't that scary?
Rudy Giuliani.
A lot.
A lot of people.
Are they not?
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of blame them if they're not talking, don't you?
I blame all of them.
I mean,
if
every
they're
single.
not talking.
I don't care if they're Republican or Democrat,
Correct.
whatever they are.
Correct.
You were over there and you're not saying anything.
Well, JP Morgan just settled too with the Epstein victims for about $290 million because of his association with JP Morgan as well.
If you think about it, why would you talk if you've been to that island? Even if you don't agree with what was going on there, why would you talk if you see all the people who did try to talk die?
Correct.
And the fire,
I don't
remember
know.
it caught fire not long after Epstein died. And if you've seen the video where there's a couple of guys who sneak onto the island and take video and they show the little cabanas that were very likely used for the trafficking. It's pretty wild.
I did see the video. Alex McCarthy said, what about the actor who accused Tom Hanks and said when he did in a public manner on video of accusing Hanks of being a predator,
right?
And said, I am not suicidal, ended up dying.
Yes. And he's on the list. Tom Hanks. A lot of people think he's great and he's a wonderful actor, but he is on the Epstein list.
Mary says she's surprised Giselle is still alive. She's so super popular. That's interesting because Giselle is really involved in campaigns to rescue kids.
Interesting.
So everything on the island's burned down? Is that?
No, but there was a big fire there right after Epstein passed away, mysteriously or not.
Of course there was. Damn.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, of course there was. For sure.
The list was probably in that fire, to be honest.
And not only that, but
Joe.
Just was it last week or the week before? You guys may have already known about this. It was news to me that now they found out there was a second location where Epstein also owned. It was some type of ranch. Did you hear about that?
Yes, no. I did.
I can't recall where it was, but wherever this ranch was is also expected to have been a trafficking place.
So it was like 3 locations, a ranch.
Yeah, there's more than one.
The island,
There's
and then
more than
somewhere in
one.
the city.
I promised, and so there's the movie. Check it out. Yeah, you spread the word from that standpoint. I did promise Eric we would try to end on a better note or at least laughing. So I'm going to do my best with this. Eric, do you like sriracha?
Is the sauce?
Yeah. What do you eat? I've never had
really.
sriracha. I don't even know what you'd put sriracha
It's
on.
a hot sauce.
Egg sandwiches. You can.
My mom
sriracha
used to
goes
do
on
that. My mom used to do that.
everything.
What the
Eggs. Don't some people put it on eggs too?
Sriracha?
That's why I just said egg sandwiches.
Yeah,
Or
just like
eggs,
scrambled eggs all mixed in there.
I mean, what can you not put it on? Think
Okay.
about that.
Steak.
Yeah, I guess you could put it on
Tabitha,
steak.
Tabitha says that
If it's a bad
sriracha
steak.
sauce is in high demand and allegedly it's $70 a bottle.
On eBay.
Look it up. How do you
telling
spell
you-
sriracha?
Over a year ago on a different
Yeah, you did. You
different
did.
show, I talked about sriracha and the fact that because of
I laughed
COVID
when you did that.
and because of everything was going on, I said, you know what? Sriracha is going to disappear because they stopped making it during COVID times. They stopped production. And I even warned people, I said, if you like sriracha, you better go out and buy some. I went out, guess what? I bought several bottles of it because now you can get it in a mini bottle or the larger bottle right now on eBay. It is selling from anywhere from $40 to $70 a bottle.
What the hell?
I use sriracha all the
is it
time. I
that-
love it.
Wow, is it that great? I
A
haven't had it in a long
Chinese
time.
hot sauce is what Jerry says.
It is.
It
I
is,
absolutely
but-
love it. I love sriracha sauce.
Okay, I have an entire.
Joe's got
I have a
something popped
gallon
up.
of it for $45 right here.
$45.
A gallon of
A
it.
gallon of
And
it.
that might be actually a normal price, I would think.
However,
I don't know.
Well, that's an off-brand.
But I know
Is sriracha a brand?
sriracha is the brand.
Is it a red?
So you
is
found an
sriracha? Does it come
off-brand.
from a red pepper?
And it comes from a variety of peppers and vinegar and different things. And it's one guy that started making it at his home and became so popular, of course, over in China. And it is I'm telling you, it's some good stuff. They used to only make it in one size and it'll last forever in your refrigerator. If you can find some, get out and buy it.
Basically spicy
Don't
ketchup.
pay-
Would that be fair to say?
No, God, no, don't disparage it in that way.
Why? Okay. Why is it not sweet?
It is it's not sweet. It's hot sauce, but it's not your typical hot sauce.
I
but
got
it
one
is
for
some
I
good
got one
stuff.
for $17 here at Schnucks.
Is it a small bottle or a big bottle?
It looks small.
Well, on eBay, it is selling for up to $70 a bottle.
Well, eBay they can be a little shady over there.
Eric, do you have a condiment that if it was in high demand that you would?
When I moved to Kansas City, I found Kansas City Masterpiece.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, that
No,
is
that
good.
is-
I like
You
it.
didn't even have to move to Kansas City to find that.
Oh, geez. Well, you know what's ironic is when I moved to Kansas City, I would go to Kansas City Masterpiece, the one,
The one.
and I would go there and I loved it. But then when I moved to Seattle,
Gates
I
is the
found
best barbecue in
lattes
Kansas
in Seattle. I literally found lattes at the place that Starbucks started down on Pike Place, down by the Pike Place Market.
Was it all that? Was it like,
Yes.
whoa, it was all that?
It was eye opening.
Okay.
It was like a spiritual awakening.
Spiritual
Yeah.
awakening.
It
Mhm.
was amazing.
Is that why you like coffee so much? See, I'm all about the hot sauces. I like all of the hot sauces.
Yeah.
Every last. That would probably be my thing. If you go to my house, I kid you not, I probably have 25 hot sauces in my cabinet.
I'm not a foodie. I know that there's a lot of people out there that know the nuances of the spices and all the stuff. Jonathan's probably one of those guys. That
I
came in here.
guarantee he does.
But I'm not a foodie. I'm just kind of like I'm boring as hell. I'm boring as hell, man. You go to Krispy Kreme, just give me one of the round glazed donuts. I'm good to go. Let's go. I don't need a bunch of that
vanilla?
stuff on it.
So
I'm vanilla.
You're vanilla?
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, my husband's vanilla.
It's like food's in, go, have
Yeah.
a nice day. Bye.
Yeah.
I know you. I can see you
I'm
over
a
there.
Boston cream girl. If I'm going to get a donut, it better be either blueberry or Boston cream.
By the way, breaking news too, again, the Supreme Court has now blocked Biden's multi-billion-dollar taxpayer-funded student loan.
He's
handout.
not God. I would love to sit here and
This
jump
is
up and
great.
down.
This is great news. We should not be paying for other people's handouts for
Exactly.
college loans when they can get jobs and go to school themselves and work.
Yep.
The problem
Does
here is
anybody-
Americans got so damn used to getting
Yes,
free
preach,
handouts,
brother.
that we think, well, we're entitled
Get
to
some.
that money.
Get some.
We're entitled to all of this.
Get some. He's absolutely right.
He is right.
Does anybody in this room? Was anyone surprised? I mean, he's the president of the United States. He basically is trying to give away $500 billion in our money to kids that don't want to pay for their education.
And are probably sitting in their parents'
Full
face.
stop.
Well, he has to
Full
follow Bernie Sanders' policies because we don't have to get into this again, but Bernie Sanders and his followers, they are the 80 million votes because they ballot harvested these 80 million ballots. So Biden has to, who is also, by the way, the most racist person that's probably ever been in our government.
He is racist.
And he had to follow Bernie Sanders' policies. And that is what? To give everything away for free? Marxism, communism, socialism. That's what it's all about.
Drew Collins, Democrat Drew, says Biden has a plan B. Biden doesn't
That's
have any
scary.
plan. Biden's only plan is to go to the bathroom, eat chocolate.
Did you
chocolate
see
chip ice
yesterday
cream.
Nicole Wallace at the end of the Nicole Wallace interview on
Jenkins.
MSNBC?
Oh,
Yeah, we showed it.
Yeah, it was great.
Oh, did you see it when he walks? He gets up
Yes.
and just kind of meanders.
No,
on
We played that
live
earlier.
And we
TV.
talked about how he pooped in his pants, and that's why he got up and walked
And
out.
Was that the reason?
I don't know, but that's
now,
what people are
now
saying.
we've actually got some civility. We've got some educated people who are not playing partisan politics on the Supreme Court. And when they're coming down and making things right, I repeat, making things right, you have very upset Democrats trying to act as if they're racist, trying to act as if they're not normal, trying to act as if they have a disconnect. Guess what? They're trying to change things back because eventually you reach your breaking point, and the crap that is being thrown against the wall trying to make stick
Yes.
by Biden, his puppet masters, and everybody else, it has an end.
Yeah.
There is a block. You have to stop. The money is not endless. And as taxpayers, we're out.
Yeah.
There is nothing. And just wait till the economy starts come crashing when the dollar really hits its low point, which is on the way too, unfortunately.
Drew Collins, listen to me. Listen to me.
Democrat Drew.
The walls are moving in. People are sick and tired of this garbage. $400 billion to pay for some snot-nosed kid that goes to a damn liberal arts college
right.
in Virginia, not paying their bill. Boo-hoo. People are getting fed up. This is not going to resonate. And then the other one is the affirmative action thing that was ruled on yesterday is absolutely correct. Institutions should be blind to what is being to people that want to go to college. The good people that are telling their parents that I'm going to raise your kids for you in the school systems. People are sick of it, Drew Collins. So I would like to thank you, and to think that this guy that looks like he should be in the wing C of Del Mar Gardens. Do you think that he has a plan B to go to the bathroom? He doesn't have a plan B for anything. He doesn't have a plan A for anything. So, Drew, I think that I've given you credit where credit was due in the past elections. The walls are closing in, man. I'm telling you what, the good American people are saying, we want to get back to normal. We're done with this. Make everything even. Stop telling me that I have to pay for some kid's education. No, there's no plan B. There's no plan B.
Sure, it is to release the monkeypox again and bring back mail-in voting.
And if that's your plan B, Drew, then that's sick. That's disgusting.
Sick. That is sick. It is totally
if you
sick.
want to do something like this, it should start in the House of Representatives It should move up through the Senate. Then there should be a big party in the back lawn where, as the president signs, something as massive as $500 billion in debt relief to our kids. You know what would be a better idea for education? Let me be honest with you. Have these colleges stop making their institutions so expensive to go to. How about this?
Yeah.
You want to go to Harvard or you want to go to Yale or Princeton or something like that? How about a $20 a credit hour so these kids can actually go and learn at these colleges?
It's a business now, as we know.
Exactly. If you want to fix the problem in education,
yes,
in liberal arts education, in education that is frivolous education that I call it, that you don't exactly know what you're going to do when you get out of college.
Correct.
Those colleges, make it cheaper. Make it don't spend $1 billion in your student facilities, so that people can't afford to go there anymore. Make it $20 a credit hour. Make housing affordable, right? And we'll all get on our way. Don't make it so we have to pay $1 trillion.
There's over 30,000 students at the University of Missouri right now.
Think how much money that
and how much do they pay a year
coming in?
It depends on scholarships.
Exactly.
It depends on help, but let's just say an average of, let's just say $17,000 to $20,000 a year.
The problem
more. Or my son's father, who was an attorney,
depending on in-state, out-of-state.
Yeah, when he went to school, his student loans were over $300,000 to be an attorney. He passed away when he was 55 years old from COVID, of course. But at that time, he was paying $1,000 to $2,000 a month towards his student loan. And when he passed away, he still owed $120,000 to student loans. You will never, ever be able to pay that back. It is, in my opinion, it is not worth it. The trade-off is not worth it.
It's not worth it. But it would be, hold on, it would be worth it to go to the University of Missouri if I could spend $20,000 a year. If I'm a kid from St. Louis, $20,000 a year to study media, journalism, law, whatever it is, and you could go to do a side job and work that off as you go to the
correct.
I'm cool with that.
Like School
That's
of
what
the
we used
Ozarks
to do.
is like that. Did you know that?
No.
Down there south of Springfield, there's a college called, it's the only one that I know of. It's called School of the Ozarks. And I have, and actually somebody on the chat line's daughter is thinking about going there. And it's a great university. It is a constitutional conservative school. I mean, that's what it is. But the children pay nothing to go there.
Yeah.
They work it off.
And I think another part of this
Isn't it? Yes.
Another part of this equation is this affirmative action thing. You should be able to put your application in, but you need an SAT score, an ACT score. You need to demonstrate that you can actually handle the workload of a university that has not been going on for years and years and years now.
Correct.
The dumbing down of our kids is hurting this country.
For sure. 100%.
We got to get back to par. And you know what, Drew? You have a lot of passion and you got a lot of fire, dog. Put it in the right place. Go start an organization that says we demand our public and state universities bring tuition down.
Well, the best thing
blame
to
it
do,
there.
If you want a bailout for debt, ask the colleges to pony up the money.
Yeah.
To take care of
for
those
sure.
loans.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Get your endowment money together and spend it on those
ask
kids.
Taxpayers to do it, just like you wanted taxpayer funded abortions for people as well, which is another horrible, terrible idea to do to somebody. We're going to take your money to go take care of other people's needs.
Drew shuts up whenever you confront him with logic.
Right.
It
Of
makes
course
sense.
he does. Yes.
I
Common
hate that.
sense.
I hate that.
Before we get out of here, here's the deal. Because I hope you guys have a show. I've heard it like 6 times. Listen, I'll show up Monday. Joe and I will show up. If anybody else wants to come, great. If not, that's fine. We'll make it a 4th of July show, America-based. We'll come up with something, but no need for anybody else to be here. It's holiday time. Everybody's asking. So we'll do that. Also, we'll give you updates on the shirts. We're not promoting the shirts. Cancel this shirts. Derek Pratt is our guy for that. We'll take care of some of those things as well. If we don't see you or hear from them, have a great, happy 4th of July weekend, everybody. Enjoy. Eric, you guys playing? Are you at the lake?
No, I'm off.
Oh,
good
enjoy.
for you. Good
I'm
for
off.
you.
Enjoy that time off.
Thanks. I'll find a nice pool somewhere. I saw your picture yesterday, Lizzie.
Party at Lizzie's.
Was that your feet in the pool?
Yeah, it was
yesterday?
my feet. That
Are
was
you
my
trying to sell your feet pics?
No, I just always do that. But every time I do, couple guys on the chat line here said, if you put this on Feets Only or whatever, you can make $30,000 a year. And I'm just too chicken to do that.
I think it should go on Pools Only because that's a nice looking pool.
On
You got
Pools
there.
Only.
Yeah, just get the kids out of there.
Get the kids out of there. It was really all about the towel. Yeah, we get the kids out.
It doesn't look so relaxing with the kids over there.
Do you have a hot tub over there too?
No, I used to have a hot tub and we got rid of it because every time we got in the hot tub, people I don't know, it just was gross. Like when everybody's in a hot tub and people's got sunscreen and it's just ew.
Yeah, she's right about that.
So I can't do hot tubs.
You have a few cocktails, you forget about it.
Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth.
Watch your mouth. Well, and I will just be there with why I was showing my feet was my Trump towel.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I saw the Trump towel. Who was the girl on the Trump towel?
Melania.
Oh, that was Melania.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure. And then I know if I have a liberal over, which I don't have many liberal friends, but if they do, they won't they won't steal my towel.
Yeah.
All right. Well, enjoy the weekend, everybody. We love you. Thanks again for supporting us. CancelTheShow.com. For Projo, Lizzie, Eric, and Tabitha, I'm Vic. Have an awesome day. That does it for this June 30th podcast. Happy Friday.